right. Hi, everyone. I'm calling the meeting of the Library Board of Trustees to order at 5:30. Can we do attendance, please? Wait, let me see who's in.
Yeah, hold on.
And it's a roll call since we're hybrid.
Great. So Sharon
Here.
Shalu, Laura Mars here, Ruby Chang
Here.
Sandy
Here.
Lauren,
Here.
Patrick is not here. And then Dawn is here.
Yep.
And
we have two attendees, Eileen Mooney and Frederica Siegel. Okay. So first order of business is approval of the minutes from January 7th. And let's give a round of applause to Laura because they were long. And you did a great job with them. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes from
January 7th, thank you. Second? Okay, discussion.
I think Lauren Clark is missing.
Lauren wasn't.
I think I was there.
Are you supposed to write that down?
Who?
Right?
Oh, should it say
Yeah.
absent? Sure,
Oh, okay.
sure. Do that. Anything else?
Oh, I just wanted to mention, there was an event in this room
Yeah.
from the town, because she had written about the new television.
Right.
It was fantastic.
Oh, good.
It was fantastic. It was for survey results for use of land. Mhm.
Cool.
So. That was
Good use.
Yeah.
Okay, any other corrections, changes? All right, may I, we're going to amend the minutes to note that Lauren Clark was absent and, all in favor of accepting the minutes as amended? Laura,
Aye.
Sandy, aye. Lauren, Ruby,
Aye.
Sharon, aye. That is good. Okay, next up is library director's report.
Okay, probably first and foremost is the budget. I reviewed the budget with Liz on the 5th. And it was looking like some of our lines maybe increased a little bit. I don't know the exact numbers yet. I haven't received it. And she also told me that she'll begin negotiating with the union on the 27th of February. But that we couldn't necessarily expect to be able to hire anybody, if we're going to be able to hire anybody, until towards May, because of how long that will take.
May I ask a question about that, Dawn? This is a long time to have a line sitting vacant. Are we able to use the funds that were appropriated to that line? I'm wondering if we could go to the Mass Library System and talk to them about getting a bibliotemps person.
I'm not sure about that. I would have to ask Ally what the rules are. Usually the salary lines are kind of separate. For example, I don't believe that I could take from salary and put it into books, but I'm not sure about that. I'll make a note to ask.
I'm just was trying to think of some way to.
Because in
ease
the
the burden.
meantime, yeah, the only programming that we have going for adults really is thanks to the Friends.
Right.
I do have at least one or two things coming up, but I just can't manage to schedule things. And as far as books for Ramsdale, Donna and I have been doing our best, but it's falling up behind a little bit. And what we do is when they get a big pile over there, we try to send someone over there to help with the cataloging of the adult materials.
Cataloging is definitely something that bibliotemps could supply.
Right.
And if they could do the cataloging for both libraries, then the staff would be freed up. So I'm hoping that that might be a solution, a temporary solution until May is a very long time.
Would you take a volunteer? Would you teach them how to do it?
No, I think it would take so much time that would be easier just for us to do it. It's MLS that does bibliotemps, right?
MLS, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know who's in charge of it, but if you just,
I'll find it in my email.
you know,
And I think that's it unless there are any questions.
well, I wonder if you could say a little bit more about the budget. I put the link into the budget forecast that the town manager presented to the select board and FinCom. Have you learned anything more beyond that?
I don't know much more than you already know from that meeting when Liz made her presentation. So I can't be too helpful there. Like I said, she's gonna send me an updated budget and I didn't receive that yet.
Okay.
I think she's due to submit that tonight though, so probably tomorrow I'll have it. And I can share it with you all if you want.
Yeah, if you have
Send
a
it
link
around.
out, yeah, sure,
Mhm.
yeah.
I do know that our budget is projected to be, I think it was 3.6 or 3.7% of the total town budget. So that's,
How could that possibly be since, oh, you're talking about not the total budget where money gets sent to you're talking about the non-education side of the town budget?
I thought it was the whole,
Well, last year we were at 1.68.
right.
I can't believe that we've gone up 2%. So,
You know what? I will send you all the budget narrative that I do have access to, and it has a pie chart there. And it has,
yeah, it must be just town side. That
Did you
percentage
send
is.
it to all of us?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not sure because we are one of the bigger departments.
I would just go ahead and send
Yeah.
it to us so that we can
Okay.
see it.
I have a question. The library. There's a line in the budget that Liz presented that says state offsets of $19,000. Under general expenses, do you know what that
That
is?
sounds like state aid.
That's state aid,
Mhm.
okay.
Which would mean state aid is going up $3,000.
No,
Wasn't
it's
it?
about what it was
Oh, I
last
thought
year.
it was in the 16th
No,
last
no.
year. Okay.
It's about the same. Or it may be, it's about the same cost as the CW Mars subscription. Both things are about $19,000, but it sounds like state library aid offset would be state aid.
Hmm.
I had a question about, not the budget, but you had a line item here about screening of the librarian on March 8th. And where is that at the triplex?
Yes,
Is that-
that's the plan.
That's the plan.
We've met a couple times about it and Ben is waiting to hear from, I don't know who his connections are about getting the license.
Mhm.
And he's gonna let us know how much the license is,
I
but
see.
it sounds like it may be affordable.
Yeah,
And we'll share the cost proportionally with Stockbridge and
right,
Sheffield.
right. Great.
It's for marketing and promotion. It's going to get tight. Do you have a ballpark on when this will get settled?
I don't, I will contact him, but he is going to do most of that, so it will be on the edge. It will be on their website. I mean, we'll have access to it as well.
Yeah.
But he's going to put something together, do a press release, all that.
Will there be people talking afterwards?
There'll be a panel afterwards. It will be the three of us library directors, and Ben and, the high school, I believe, librarian, maybe the middle school librarian from Sheffield.
What's the date of that?
March
March
8th. I think it's a Sunday.
They just had that in Lennox,
Right.
where they just showed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, Julia Emery, who, is a supporter of the library. I assume she's
Yeah.
had a thank you, but is
Yes.
she a Great Barrington resident?
Yes, and she is a faithful supporter of the library.
Great,
Who is that? I didn't hear you.
Julia Emery, it's in my
it's in the report,
report.
great. Well, thank you very much for this. If there are no other questions, we'll move on to. So I put in a chair's update, because I wanted to try to prep us for what we're doing, today. Town manager, one of the things that we're doing today. So Liz Hartsgrove, the town manager, presented to the select board. This wasn't select board and FinCom, this was to the select board. Two proposals for Great Barrington. One is the residential tax exemption proposal. And there are debates about whether that's aptly named, since it's really an exemption for housing below a certain level.
Do we
if
know what
you're a
that level
full-time
is?
rebel. They haven't figured it out yet, but it looks like it's somewhere in the 700,000. So what they haven't sorted out yet, as far as I understand, is how many full-time residents will be impacted with a higher tax rate because of their assessment. So we have that, and then also a seasonal communities designation, which the town has to vote whether it's going to accept.
Right.
And this is a little bit out of our lane, a little bit out of our wheelhouse, but she is looking for feedback from us to whatever extent we feel we can offer it. So I think we'll do our best. I don't know if we'll achieve a consensus or we'll present a range of opinion, but you're recording this, right? Yeah, but we will present the sense of the meeting, on this subject when we get to it. We are then going to be taking up a draft memo of understanding. And this is not a finished document. This is a draft, and trustees this is a chance to have some input, to see what's here, what you have questions about, what you would prefer to see. And then once we have our own document ready, then we're going to designate a couple of people to go and meet with the other organizations and come to an agreement, that we can all live with and proceed happily with. So this is a couple of weeks to a month process. I would love if we could get this completed by March, so that we are marching through the rest of this year and well into the next fiscal year with ourselves all aligned. So there's that. And then I also, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I also wanted to say, it was with great regret, but with complete understanding, that we are going to be in May thanking Sandra Pantorno for 6 wonderful years of service, but she is not going to stand for reelection. And we thank you for everything you've done, and we expect some more out of you for the next couple of months.
3 years,
What?
3 years.
Not 6 years.
I thought you had second.
No.
Okay, sorry, 3 years of
Yeah.
service.
No, so 1 year before
Before,
me,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that we're gonna miss you. And also that everybody should be thinking about recruitment so that we can talk up the open positions, okay?
Well, I'll say one thing about that
Yeah,
from day one, as those of you who are here from that time period, I gave 100%. Day one, in my house, out of my house, in meetings, wherever. So I know you're gonna just do gangbusters and going forward.
yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Sandy.
Mhm.
Gonna miss you.
Okay, I'm around. Not going anywhere.
Okay, so I just wanted to kind of set the table on the meeting and hope we get through it with dispatch. And we will obviously fetch you later in the year. So thanks. So I'm going to do the affiliate reports. I asked that they be written. If we have questions, I don't see Ed Abrams in the audience, but if we have questions of anything the fund mentions in its report, I see Frederica Siegel and Sharon Gregory joined the meeting, so we could ask them. So let me read the Friends report. The Good is New book sale was popular. I also saw it on Facebook a lot, on social media a lot, so that was nice to see that. We moved more books than any previous holiday sale, and they plan to continue with monthly themes, gardening, travel, cooking. So that's an interesting way
Yeah.
to curate curate the sale.
Yeah.
Last month's poetry reading was held on the day that until last week was the coldest day this winter. Despite that, we had about 30 to 40 people attend.
Amazing.
Reading stuff for winter, they'll resume in April. My husband and I actually went to that reading. And when we got there, all of the seats that Ed had already put out were full. And so we had to go get the extra chairs and put them out. And it was a big crowd for that. I mean, it was frigid. It was, yeah. And this is the last, I think some of us know this, but Ed's going to be away for 6 weeks in the summer. And so the question is going to be how to manage the summer book sales. And if you have any ideas,
I haven't,
Laura?
I already put Ed together with a woman named Jan Kahn, and they have spoken, and Jan is going to be joining the Friends, and she the plan is to be working.
Oh,
with
good.
the sales. Yes.
Great.
I mentioned.
Is that,
Jan.
did you spell her?
Jan Kahn, Conn, Jan,
N.
Conn.
Good.
That I thought that we should be trying to recruit more friends.
Right, yeah.
And because she was a little worried because she's a while ago said I'd be happy to join. And then when Ed said that he was gonna I said, what he really needs is this. But when she realized that the only other friend is Holly. Do you know what I mean? Well, and Michelle. a little bit.
Michelle sometimes.
Yeah, it seems like she's not fully, well, anyway. I know
Michelle
she's been in
Kaplan
and out.
or the other?
No.
Michelle Love.
Rather.
Yeah, she's been a little bit in and out. Anyway, I said, well, hopefully we can start the process of recruiting some friends. But I don't know if the friends are supposed to recruit for themselves or if anybody can help out, or I don't even know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I did talk with Ed about recruitment or a membership drive is what I was thinking about. And he said that they were open to it, but that basically we'd need to recruit the people who were going to do the recruitment. But it would be a function of the friends. So if we found a couple of people who wanted to build the membership of the friends would be amenable to it.
I
But they
have
don't
given
have
Ed
to.
names in the past, like last year. So he has a list
Names of potential friends.
Yeah.
Well, why
I
don't
wonder
we
if
put this on
we
the?
don't know whether he's reached
I don't
out. to them or not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we're going to meet with the friends once we have our draft MOU. Why don't we bring it up and see what they say?
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think we can recruit for them. We can promote that they're recruiting, but
Right.
it's their organization, so.
I mean, if he wanted to, could he have something put on the website?
Well, there is something at the website.
There is,
Like
yeah.
help the friends out, be a volunteer this summer.
Yeah, I don't think it addresses volunteers, but they do have a
Site.
presence on the website.
Well,
So-
if there's a link for them and if they're asking for volunteers, that would be the easiest way to do it.
Okay,
Can you check to see if Pat is trying to get on?
no, he's not.
And
Since he has
one,
a hard time getting
So
on the
it's,
plane.
you can see that,
Oh,
that who's in the room.
and just as a last resort for the summer book sale, in Ed's absence, you know, I thought that trustees could take one weekend, you know, we could sort of like be responsible to put the sale just with.
Does he know the time frame?
He probably does. He's going to England, with his wife for 6 weeks. And they're gonna visit all of her family and,
Because I didn't see any dates on there, so I don't,
Yeah,
because I don't know if I'm around.
yeah,
If I knew the dates.
so let's
it would
find
make
out the
it easier.
dates.
yeah, yeah.
I put the books away once this past summer. And well, that's not true. I didn't put them anywhere. I just covered them up for the
Mhm.
night when Ed was going to be out of town
Mhm,
and took in the donation boxes.
mhm.
But schlepping the books out,
It's a lot,
it's
right,
a lot,
right,
you know?
right. And I wasn't really thinking of us physically, but maybe, you know, we have someone who can help us if it's like our weekend in an emergency.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk,
Yeah.
let's take these things up when we take the MOU to him and try to get some things from that. Okay. All right, you all saw the library fund report. This one is kind of longer, and I'm not sure that I need to read it all. So what I think I do, unless you want me to, I'm happy to do that, but would you like to just dig in for questions, or should I set the table with reading?
I don't think you need to, I mean, we all have it, right? Potentially, we all saw it and, unless
Okay, so
anybody.
the overview is that they have some materials that they have created, and they would welcome edits. And the one note I want to make here, though, is about, and I thank them very much for wanting to create materials that work for all of us. Their materials need to be separate from ours because we're an elected body of a town department. But we need to approve the approach to make sure that it's, you know, telling them the message, but they will have to be separate. I don't think that we can blend ourselves that much with their fundraising drive. So we'll have to talk with them about that. They do have a branding and marketing company, so they're going to be starting to put together a donor package, which is great.
Can I ask, do we have any idea who that is?
No, I don't think they didn't say, so,
I mean, is it someone local?
don't know.
Just says professional fundraising organization.
Yeah. So I don't know that it matters.
No,
because-
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
who will soon be engaging a professional fundraising organization. I'm talking about the branding, marketing.
Right, the one above it.
Oh.
But I think, again, that's something that's really up to them to choose the firm they want to work with, right?
And you don't have the information yet. And they didn't get the information.
They're not, yeah.
Right, but I mean, do we have any say in what they come up with? Because we know they came
Yes.
up with that map, which.
Well, they're asking for feedback on the materials. And when we get to the MOU, we'll talk about, I mean, the trustees have to be in control of the message. The
Yeah.
Friends and the Fund are supporting organizations. And so we will have a say in the message, in that we're going to create the message, and then it's shared, and then the supporting organizations use that to develop their materials or whatever. So in that way, we're all speaking with one voice, but we're
Right.
doing it in different places with different.
But it also seems to me, though, that the MOU will address
Yeah.
much of this.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, this was written, I think,
right,
as a
Before,
report,
sure.
and the MOU came out after that,
Right.
so we were working parallel.
Right,
But
right.
yeah.
But it will be, as she says, which, is true, the common perspective, which is,
Yeah, and one of the things I noted in here is, like the questions, like question 7. What is the trustee's strategy and timeline for solving the archives problems and this and that? I mean, these are things that they're our responsibility.
right.
But I think we should be doing a better job of sending updates of concern. But I do think that it's really important for us to say, this is our issue and we will work on it.
Right,
And we'll let you know.
Right.
But
On that number 7 with the archives, the town manager took that on, is doing a study and put some money into
the
that.
town manager's
Mhm.
involved and the
Yes.
trustees are involved.
Mhm.
And it would really muddy the waters to have anybody else
Right.
working on this.
Well,
Yeah.
excuse me, just for mentioning though,
Oh, Patrick is here. Let me, how do I up? Oh, here.
These little things. Yeah.
Hang on, Pat, I'm promoting you to panelist. Pat Hollenbeck joined the meeting at 5:56 PM.
Thanks.
Hi, Pat.
Oh, yeah.
so I just wanted to say about the number 7. This was my feeling when we were at the meeting for the
CPC.
No, the historical commission.
Oh, yeah, I
And
wasn't there.
my
Yeah.
question really is, what is the trustee's strategy and time frame for solving the archives problem? It's not our problem. Why do we need a time frame or a strategy? It's their problem. I'm
It's
just
not,
saying.
it's not the
Yeah.
responsibility,
I mean, I really not the
it's the responsibility of the library.
But we are being,
We're involved.
we are involved and
we are
they keep
involved.
asking,
Question
yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not our responsibility in its entirety.
Well, we also can't set the time frame. That's
And we
true.
can't.
Right.
And the town manager is gonna work on that, and I
Yeah.
think that's more important than anybody else right now.
Right. I do think that we need to communicate clearly what the terms were.
Yeah, I totally
By
agree.
digging up the minutes from 2014,
Right,
we can show what the decision was and what the understandings were. We can contribute that, but the library cannot fund this storage space. We have no access to any grants that could fund it. The,
Right, they need to.
yeah, they're gonna have to become proactive, but
That's what I mean by it's really their strategy.
yeah, it's a good
That's how
point.
it's
It's a good
We
point.
wanna help in any way we can.
Right,
And, I feel like, it's a friendly thing. We should be
should be,
working together in whatever way we can with them. To help them, but it's just not our,
It's more of an assist.
yeah, right. In a sense, it's not.
Yeah.
yeah, and as far as grant opportunities, we do the trustees intend to pursue grant opportunities? That's just for what?
well, that's number 8.
It's number 8. You know what, before we go on, Pat is raising his hand. Pat.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, well, everything changes so fast, but today I happened to look for it and it's online. The Massachusetts Historical Preservation Grants, the deadline is March 13th. And it would be $100,000 as a matching grant, but CPC money counts as the match. So essentially $200,000. Now, the fly in the ointment is that the Historical Commission has to write a recommendation. So there is a deadline here. We can't just walk away from hundreds of thousands of dollars because of this stuff.
Yeah, but it's
Right, but it's up to
theirs.
them to do it.
It's up to them.
Can't
though.
force them.
No, it's a municipal problem and it's Liz's problem. If she wants the town to walk away from 200 grand, then she can make that decision. But I think we need to really let her know.
Yeah, so Pat, what I'm wondering is if you could send the link that we can forward along, if you could send that to me.
Yeah, I think that I did. I'll have to check. I think I sent it to Ruby. Did you get it? I think
No,
no. Okay. I thought I sent that. Okay, I will find that again. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a pretty simple application actually. But anyway, that's the only thing that and the town will have to fill out a lot of it. The Liz's office, Liz or Chris. But anyway, it's a lot of money. It's coming up.
Yeah,
Be great.
I think, and so I think it should be forwarded to the clerk and to Liz, right? And they can decide who's best situated to apply for it. Yeah, that's great, thank you. So just send it to me and I'll, or you could send it right to Liz if you want, whichever one, just let me know, okay?
And just one other thing back to 2014, which is Lauren voted on that. I happened to be in the room as a citizen that day. So it was pretty clear. And then probably a year or so after that, then as I was taking over more, I had meetings with them in 2018. And that's when they moved 190 boxes upstairs there. And there was a problem with the load bearing and everything else. And at that point, they stated they didn't want to be in Ramsdale. It wasn't climate controlled. It wasn't even the best. They said, um, I forgot which one of them said this, but one of them said we should never be in the top floor of a building or a basement of a building. That's just the rules of archives, because those buildings, those floors in a building are susceptible to problems. And so they kept saying they wanted to move to the Wheeler estate. And then Dawn, Ruby, you were there at that meeting in 2023 where we had it in Mason, and they said the town's not helping us write grants. We don't have the time. We don't have the inclination. And nobody's helping us. So that's where the stuff is. So it's not like that. And also in the meeting in 2018, I talked to them about where they can move temporarily, as everybody would have to, because I said the Lenox Library and Stockbridge Library both had some of their storage in Housatonic when they had to work on their libraries. So this thing of eviction and we're not helping them is actually a kind of a little bit of a legend.
But then when we went to the Historic Commission, Pat, they said, we like the Ramsdale. We like it, I mean, yeah, I agree with you that the history is there, but I don't know how much we can count on what happened previously.
Well, also in the
Very hard to
strategic
do.
plan, the top thing that the citizens told us was they want a community space.
Right.
Right.
It was the top choice. So those guys might like the second floor. The taxpayers might like it a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I think we have a plan moving, and I think that, there's some misunderstandings that we're in the process of clearing up, but I think we need to take Lauren's point that this is not our issue.
Right.
So what we need to do is engage the people who can solve this problem.
Well, we don't
give
even
them-
need to do that, really. Ultimately, responsibility falls on the historical commission. It's their baby. It's their child. I mean, we could assist. If they want our assistance, maybe they don't.
I have to say, I was pretty surprised at just how much is up there.
There's a lot.
It's
I
a
know.
lot, and it's not all town records, apparently. Some of it belongs to the Historical Society. So there's a lot of sorting to do, and I hope that they have an archives person. Dawn and I spoke with her, oh, I don't know, was it
Carrie.
a week ago or something? And they're working away on it, but it's a lot. So I don't know how much they're finding belongs to the town, or whether that's part of the process of divvying it up. But yeah, it's a lot.
But the other point is that they shouldn't want all that stuff where it is, the way it is. It's not
Right.
Not safe.
it's not in a good place for it being
It's not
preserved.
secure, yeah.
And I don't know, are they hoping that we'll fix, the Ramsdale will get fixed and then we'll get the space back and it'll be great?
Yeah.
I mean, that hasn't come up obviously, but you wonder.
You wonder.
What the thinking is, you know?
Yeah.
You'd think they would be really itching to get this stuff out of.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I just add a little input to this?
Yes.
So I did look at the minutes from 2014 from the Historical Commission. And except for January, all the other minutes are missing.
Oh,
So which means that they never submitted any of their minutes, even though the agendas are there. So we don't know what was discussed.
Wow.
Pat and I did go in December of 2023 because we needed a letter of support for our CPC, for our first CPC grant. And they gave it to us and we told them about the project and what we're planning to do. And they were upset because we told them that their archives are not part of the project. So they knew from December of 2023 that this project is coming along. So they had 2 years to really figure things out. They meet regularly, they have their meetings. And I don't see any proposal for them to do anything about it. They really want to stay there.
Okay,
So,
I think that we
Can I
can't.
just finish
Yeah,
my story?
Right.
So 2014 is when we got the registered National Historic Places. We got that designation. And right after that, they wanted to use the Ramsdale Library as a museum. They wanted the whole back of the addition plus the upstairs to house all of their archives and displays. They wanted to make it a museum. And so they came to the trustees, they had multiple meetings during that time. And Lauren, you were there.
Well, yeah, but the thing is the library needs to stay as a library or we don't have the building.
And the library trustees said, no, that's not going to happen. And so ever since then, they feel that they have a place at the Ramsdale. They have a right there.
but they
But
don't.
they don't.
They were allowed to be there.
Right, but
They were given permission to be there,
And
but it doesn't mean anything.
And then later, the photographer gave 180 boxes of photographs.
Mhm.
So they put it up there and they had to actually have structural evaluation to make sure that the second floor is supported.
Mm.
And that is why you could see boxes spread out throughout the whole, it's not just stacked in one spot
Yeah,
because of the weight issue.
Yeah.
So that is the history of what's going on, but I don't have a good understanding as why they're resistant in, reaching for help from the town or,
I don't know. Did anybody ever ask them?
They've said, we don't have the money, but they don't seem to have ever looked for the money.
Grants and things of that
Right.
nature.
But I mean, I don't know that for sure, but that's part of
So-
how it seems.
So now we have this feasibility study by Liz that she's proposing. That's gonna take a long time. And we will not have an answer anytime soon. So what do we do in the meantime?
But she hasn't said anything, Ruby, about a time frame.
yeah,
She said $50,000, I believe, that she had
50,000.
budgeted
So I don't,
for other places. And that's all she has
yeah,
said so
and that's
far.
all, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we just want to
leave
say,
it. Yeah.
we need to leave it and
Yeah.
we need to come
Just
back
leave
to it when we can have some impact
Yeah.
on.
so you don't think at this point the trustees should reach out to the historic commission and say, let's sit down and talk?
No, no, absolutely not.
They're big people.
It's the town, we need to give all of the information that we have to the town manager. And the town
Right.
manager is working on to find a solution. And we need to,
And we'll work with them.
yeah, we'll totally work with them, but right now.
I don't think
the
we
ball
should
is not
engage
in our
with them, no.
No.
Because they have not proved that they want that or interested in it, or we can't expect any positive outcome. So
Okay,
I don't think, yeah, we could project what we would do, but,
So
I'm,
And they were not, they were very, I don't know what the word is.
Dismissive.
Dismissive of us when we attended their meeting recently.
okay, I'm going to,
So,
Eileen Mooney, Eileen, I'm sorry, she had her hand up and I was trying to call on her and it looks like she had to. Are you back, Eileen? There you are. Yes, Eileen.
Okay, I just wanted to say that the minutes may be available for past meetings, but they have not been put on the website.
No, we went to the town manager, to the clerk's office.
unfortunately, it's closed.
We actually followed up on that, Eileen. It wasn't just an issue of the website, because we actually had to go back and get our own out of the analog archives too, because the website's still being updated. So no, we're aware that there's that hard copy there, and that's what we were talking about. The minutes are not there for 2014 for the Historic Commission. They may have them, but,
there was no hard copy, we looked.
yeah, but the commission may have them themselves, but, yeah.
No, nobody has asked them.
No, not right now. I think it's not our job. It's really up to the clerk, to do that, right?
Right, the clerk is aware, and she will go back and ask the previous chair at during the 2014 to see if he has.
Right,
Record.
right. But it's really out of our, this is really way beyond our authority and scope. I'm going to, try to move us on.
Yeah.
But I also want to thank Lauren for bringing pizza. Please go get yourself some.
It's not good anymore, but it's good.
Okay. So, thanks as always to our affiliated organizations. Let's move on to the RBC report. So you have the design team responses. So happily the Ramsdale design review scored very well, 229 out of 288.
Yeah.
And the overall adequacy of design score was 8 out of 9. So very, very well received. Ruby, do you just want to give a little update on, I came to the meeting where you talked about this with architects, and the architects did codify their responses, but do you want to just give the overall feeling about?
As you all know, all of the points that was brought up by the review are points that the building committee had gone back and forth over. To look at the sight line, to look at, we have a rolling desk for the librarian upstairs, all of that had been thought through. And our final decision, there was a reason why we did it the way we did. And so that is why Michael from PDR had written in red a response to the review and to thank them for it. And I think it's reasonable because these were exactly the same questions we had asked the committee to Michael about, and we had talked back and forth and gone, and Michael had given a good reply. And so these are things that are internal to the overall structure and the space of so the space is set. How we change the rooms on the inside, or one side is a meeting room versus the other side, is something that can be moved as we go into the schematic design. So these are things that we will think through again, we will take their considerations, and we will move forward. And I think the most of the points were related to the parking. Because we did not give them a good enough description of how we're gonna go about doing that.
The parking and the sight lines to the children's room seemed like they came up a couple of times, but I was really cheered by the evaluation, and I thought there was a reason why the desk was on this side, and there was a reason why we wanted that side to be a meeting room that probably wasn't apparent in the design, but that, you know, we were talking about like where the best parts of the historic building were. So I was pretty cheered by it. I mean, I thought that it was a good review.
So
I just want to mention something about the parking. And that I see here, you know, there is problematic, but I actually thought that we weren't addressing that so much because we knew it wasn't something they were going to be,
Right.
that was going to be part of the grant anyway.
Right. It's outside.
So that comes as a little bit of a surprise that it has been mentioned as a problem.
Yeah, because we did lose some points.
Yeah, we
did.
lost
Yeah.
points, but
Yes.
but you would think, you know, I guess maybe we didn't know that they were going to
To look
be
at it.
To use that as a,
evaluating
right.
us with that.
Yeah.
So
They
Yes,
do
it
have
did.
requirements.
we
for
didn't
parking.
know that.
What's that?
If it were a new building, they would have requirements for parking. But
we
since
still
it's an
lost points on
existing
it.
building,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were some points on their review that I had said initially, and they also mentioned it about that second floor not having enough security.
Mhm,
And they recommended minimally to have video surveillance
mhm,
of that.
mhm.
And that was my concern from the get-go,
Yes.
that people were gonna be in stacks
Mhm,
and not be seen.
mhm.
So I agree with that, and that would have to be added, some kind of video surveillance. And also, they mentioned about the programming space. And I didn't look at the drawings of it, but they had mentioned about using the community porch as
Yeah.
interior programming,
Mhm,
since it already has the roof.
mhm,
Yep.
And I thought that's something to look at.
mhm.
So those were the two areas, and
Yeah, I was questioning whether, I mean, that what they seemed concerned about was that the youth programming room was not visible from the
Right,
third desk,
right.
it's
right?
not.
And, but I thought that it wouldn't always be open, so I was a little confused by that.
Well, even if
because
it's not always open, you still need visibility.
But if it were
When it
open,
is.
somebody would be leading
if
the
it was a
program.
programming, if it's a programming space.
Somebody would be
It
there.
would be
There would be staff
open because
So would it always be closed?
I think it's just something. to
Unless a
flag.
staff
I
member
think it's
is
just
there?
You look at the children's room right here, they have a program space right there. Which is, do you see the program space?
Oh, yeah, I know it,
Yeah,
yeah.
And so that door is open and sometimes, usually the parents are in the room with. the
Right,
kids.
Yeah,
So then you don't really need constant supervision.
but if it's
Except that
teens,
they're-
it's different,
But except there are librarians stationed in the room. I mean, that's.
right
the
in
issue.
there. Which we won't have with the teens.
This program space in Ramsdale is really meant for an organized program. It's not meant to be.
Extra.
There's a table in there with chairs and it's not meant to be kids playing with a kitchen or whatever. So. Yeah, that doesn't concern me.
All right, I have to look at it again
Yeah,
to understand what they're saying. They said it blocks views.
program focused, yes.
And they said the teen space blocks views of the children's rooms. And there's no. They said there's needs to be a mobile staff desk. Is there no staff desk in the children's area
I
now?
thought we did put one up there, but maybe let's put
Maybe
it
we
in the
did.
children's instead.
So maybe there's no staff desk. Which there should
So
be,
these are things that,
yeah.
It's easy enough to really just put one in.
So they made good recommendations, I thought.
It's interesting that they also. In amongst. The criticisms that they enumerated, none of which surprised us.
Right.
They also made a comment that said access to the Great Hall will be a significant benefit.
Yes.
Yes, there are definite
Yes.
positives.
Yeah.
So what's the next step here with this?
So, the town that may have dropped out is moving onward. They're prepared. They're going to do their town meeting for a vote, and that's gonna happen in June. So the earliest we'll know if that town vote goes through or not is June.
Okay.
And after that, then we could move up forward. If they pass and they want the project and they're willing to fund the project, then we will not be getting our cost estimate till spring of 2028. So once we get our cost estimate, we go before the town vote. And then with the town vote, if the town wants this project to go on, and then we go and move forward to the next step.
So what years you talking about? You talking about 2026 and 2028? So nothing in between?
Right.
Okay.
Because, well, it all depends, because if you look at the CMR regulations, what they say under waitlisting is that sometimes they will move waitlisted project forward if they have extra money and the town is ready to fund it. So what that means is that they have this fund, they have a bundle of money that they have yearly. And then they use it all up, and then toward the end, they have, oh, I have a couple million. Let's see what other project we can start moving ahead. So they could fund it at any time. Just like Monterey. Monterey was waiting, and all of a sudden they were able to get funding. So we on our end is that we have to be prepared. We have to prepare the town for the project. We have to really be ready to have the funding in place before the town vote. So the town understands that there is funding, because you can see how tight the budget is and how terrible all of the increasing taxes has been for all the residents.
So if the town does not approve, what happens to the state funding at that point?
If
What
the
happens,
town-
or to our position?
Then we lose it.
We lose it,
Mhm.
okay. Cause everybody would have to know that before they vote, right? What does your vote mean,
Right,
right? There have to be clarity on that.
right.
Well, you know,
Okay.
just a quick, going back to what the people from the fund said about the Yes Monument.
Yes. That group.
The approach. Mhm.
Their approach. I think that is we need an approach like that.
Mhm.
And it's not, I don't think it's just up to the fund group. I think it's up to all of us
Right.
to
Oh,
participate in that.
yeah.
And, and get people so they really understand it. What are they voting for? And, you know, if it turns out, like, if we lose it completely, if we don't vote for it, I think it's really important that people
Right.
know that. There are so many points
Mhm.
that people really need to know. And, you know, only a small section of the community really even know what's going on here.
It's true.
And it's, you know, it's always the same people who show up. And which is great, but you need to get to everybody.
In one way, shape, or
So,
form.
way, shape, or form. So I think that's,
One of the interesting things moving forward with the process is that the town manager is going to become
Yes.
involved.
Mhm.
And she has talked to Dawn about developing a tour, and so that we could tour, beginning with the electeds, like
Mhm.
select board and FinCom, and then invite other town groups to come in, but then to open it up to tours
Mhm.
Of the community.
of the community.
Absolutely.
And that is going to involve, you know, because the second floor right now is restricted access, it's gonna have to engage either Dawn or a trustee at every one of those
Mhm.
because of the access issue. So there are things to work out, but Dawn and I crawled over Ramsdale one day, probably a week ago, and we made, we talked through the things we wanted to point out in each room. And during the rest of February, we're going to edit that into a script. And then, town manager said that as soon as the budget is a little farther along, she'll have some opportunities to work on it. But her idea is not only to have in-person tours, but to use community television? Is that
Yes.
it? Community television
Great idea.
To record it.
record a tour that people
Yeah.
could see.
Mhm.
And so there's gonna be a lot coming up.
Mhm.
And I learned some things about the Ramsdale that I didn't know already. And we found ourselves looking in various nooks and crannies that we might not have thought about, but they were illuminating, and there are plenty of places where you can see how endangered the windows are, and you can see the leaks and things like that. But then there's more of that, like how few grounded outlets there are in the
Right there is all huge.
Yeah.
And the bathrooms.
In the bathroom, there's only one working bathroom, the staff bathroom
Yeah.
doesn't work and
Yeah.
it's not accessible, so it's
Yeah.
a lot. And I don't think people understand the severity of the problem, so I think
Well,
this tour will be really useful.
What's the Great Barrington Library's fund involvement in things like that? In developing stuff like that as well, like tours and community engagement and
Well, I think we need to.
information and
That's
things
what
like
the
that.
I think
That's what
that's
the
what the
MOU
MOU
is
is
about.
going to do, but we have to recognize the town manager is going to be working directly with us with the library.
With the
through
library.
Dawn.
Okay.
So we need to, I mean, this is part of there's so many moving parts, and this is the idea of regulating it all so that we all.
So there's no
we're not stepping
duplication,
on
right,
each other's
exactly.
toes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So the
Yeah.
town manager is gonna be working with
well, directly with Dawn.
Dawn
And
on
then
things
Dawn
of
will
that
engage
nature.
the trustees.
She seems positive though, don't you think, to the project, which is a plus.
But we are in the middle of a big budget.
Absolutely,
Right there.
absolutely.
So we
And
need
she's,
to, we need to strategize carefully
Yeah.
about this, yeah.
Well, and there's this whole thing about, well, it'd be great if we got to do this sooner because the prices are gonna go up if we're still on a wait list for 2 more years. On the other hand, it gives us 2 more years to really get our message
Yeah.
out.
right,
Exactly.
It's like, I'm not sure, I'm not sure which.
I'm not sure which is
Better,
the-
right.
yeah.
right.
But I do see positives in each of them, you're
Yeah.
right. All right, well, we've already been meeting for almost an hour, and we have just gotten through the report, so we're gonna have to pick up the pace of it.
Pat, this way, you know.
Pat?
Yeah, I'd just like to go back to Ruby's point and to Sandy's question. So Monterey, what we were told up there is when they got to this point where they were, kind of in inertia, waiting for something to happen, they went out and actually raised some money to do the schematics that they needed. So they didn't stop, even though the MBLC money had stopped temporarily. But because they did that, they got far enough along, and MBLC recognized that. And so when it came up, they did have some extra money that was there. I think that Monterey was 11th on the wait list, and they jumped them right to the top. So I think that's something that, and I know Ruby has thought about this too, but that's what we should be doing now, is finding a way to move forward and getting the schematics done. That also answers the problem of, time wasted is inflation money. So anyway, that's just an important distinction here, that we should take Mark's advice up in Monterey there.
Just to segue into what Pat is saying is that because Liz is doing the capital improvement planning. She has this capital plan. And it's gonna go before the select board and the FinCom. So the question is, should we bring this project to their review again to see if they could put that into their capital campaign?
This is not something that we can solve in the moment here. Is that something you can research, though?
Whether we can put what in the envelope.
We could present the project so that Liz could consider it as part of her capital campaign.
It's a capital plan, if I do a capital
Capital
plan.
improvement plan.
I'm thinking that it could be done next year, but we had deadlines for submitting capital projects that are long past.
Oh,
So I'm not sure it could be considered for this year.
so the deadline's passed.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so there's no way we could squeeze this in for this year. Okay,
So I think, we would want to be prepared to make a request next year, and we would have to be thinking about that in December. At the latest.
We might be able to ask, we could probably figure out what the savings is if we kept going right now. And the savings might be significant enough that it would be appetizing for the town, because if we can save that money, then it's money that town's not gonna have to come up with later.
how do you calculate that, Pat?
I don't know. We'll figure out what the rate of, we can ask the architects what they think at this point, what the rate of inflation is for the next year. And then what the project would cost to do the schematics. I think we just put those numbers together, then we're gonna know what we could possibly the savings might be.
Yeah, but we're not sure that we have an avenue for presenting this. I think this is something, again, that it's good to have it on the table, but I think we need to move on because we can't solve it tonight. So if you could mention the idea of schematic drawings as a discrete project and see if there is some place in the budget where that might happen this year, that would be great, and then I think we need to revisit this, and maybe this is even something that a subcommittee should hash out before it comes to the board, because there's so many moving parts, so. Okay, let's move on. I wanted to just say for a minute, I think that Great Barrington did itself proud with the library legislative breakfast.
Hear, hear.
And thanks to everybody for attending. Dawn, do you have any? I'm sorry. I finished my pizza, so great. Did you have any feedback from the organizing committee?
Very positive feedback, from the committee and others.
Oh, good.
I even received, a couple thank you notes, one in the mail and one, via email. So it was very well received.
Sorry.
Thank you for all your help.
Yeah, it was a shame.
I
That's
was
it.
stuck.
It was the biggest legislative breakfast I've been to. Yeah.
There's something about the area.
You guys really, we
The
could
room
have done it
looked
without
great,
you.
right?
Yeah, it looked really
Room
nice.
looked great.
Did you take
Food
any
was good.
pictures? Did you post them on the site or anything on the website?
I do have some pictures.
I'd love to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
Maybe post a
do
few.
something on social
Yeah.
media with the refs and the senator. Yeah.
It was in the newsletter. There was at least one picture in the newsletter, but I have a few more, I believe.
Yeah,
What I don't have is a picture of the room as it was set up.
Mhm.
before the-
we should have thought of that, yeah.
Before, right,
Yeah.
right.
It looked good though?
It was,
Yeah, it was
it was
pretty.
surprising. It was really great.
Oh, that's great.
And Pittsfield has a stash of linen tablecloths that it uses, and that really,
Yeah.
it really was nice.
Sharon brought flowers for every table,
Yeah,
and some
sure.
little candies to spread on the table. So
thanks.
it's very welcoming and nice, yeah.
Yeah, so we do have an appropriation, which is the next item on the agenda. Now, I want to explain this. What we are asking is that we appropriate the full amount of the breakfast from Mason donations. So that's $1,710. You see the invoice. However, we are going to get reimbursed by the Library Legislative Breakfast Committee.
Oh,
And Dawn believes that we're going to be reimbursed about $1,500.
$1,500 is what I was
So
told.
they-
So we're gonna net a
Mhm.
$210 contribution to the breakfast, besides, hosting it. So, but we do need to pay the bill in whole and wait for a reimbursement.
Wait for the
It's
reimbursement.
sort of like a grant, right? So I have a motion to appropriate $1,710 from state aid. No, not from state aid, my bad, from Mason donations.
So moved.
Okay, second,
I'll second it.
roll call vote, Pat,
Yes.
Ruby,
I,
Sharon, I, Lauren,
look,
Sandy,
Aye.
Laura. Aye. Unanimous. And, thank you, Dawn, for taking care of that. Okay, I've lost my agenda. We, the agenda right now says that we're going to take up a couple of documents along with the CPC grant, but I want to wait and move those to the end because we really need to get on. But I would like to talk about the CPC application and its resolution. Most of us were in the room or zoomed in. And I wonder what your takeaways were from this. We know that it was tabled rather than rejected. What was quite unclear was what would be the process of getting this application untabled. My experience is that when an application is tabled, that when it comes up again, it would be a new application we make. So I don't know if there's a process. I mean, there's no money left for them to consider it this year. So this would be, the earliest would be in the fall. And I think at that point, it's likely that they'll put it in their next round. So I do think that's some clarification we should ask for.
Why was it tabled specifically? Because that would be the way of getting it approved, right? If you clarify those things, or those issues are gone.
Well, there are two documents, two different sets of FAQs, and they are in your meeting packet. That try to address some of the concerns that came up in the meeting.
But in general, I think there were
Go
two
ahead.
issues. I think one was the archive situation.
Okay, well, that.
I know, but that's, you asked, that's
No,
what you're.
no, and then Liz stood up. So so what else?
And the other was the timing, right? They felt
Right.
that they wanted to make sure, they kept saying, the town, we want to make sure that the town is behind it. We want to have community support before they give money to it. However, the town meeting is when that would be obvious or not, right? So but we can't wait for the town meeting because then the deadline for the application would be passed.
I think that, it was considered, they saw it as a novel application in some way and felt it was premature, but when they read the application, they realized, or at least one committee member
There
read
was
the
more than one.
application and knew what we were talking about. That it wasn't premature, given the timeline that the construction grant had to move under. So, so there was an attempt kind of at a compromise where the funds wouldn't be allocated, they just wouldn't be spent, they wouldn't be appropriated to another purpose. But that failed as they funded most everything else before them. I think they only rejected one thing that I
Oh,
recall,
on their
and it was
list, yeah.
private citizen or something. So I have to say, I thought the meeting became bit hard to follow at the end, what exactly it meant by tabling it.
Is there a way of finding out from them specifically what they need to see or to hear that would make the outcome different?
We do need to follow up with them.
Right.
And the question is what the form is going to be. And the application went to the CPC as an application from the trustees. And so I think in trying to help the trustees come up with a response, I don't know who has a hand raised. Oh, it's Pat. Pat, you can just, you can just speak.
I didn't want to interrupt. I was gonna say, there's maybe some limited beliefs here. The town has approved this. The town unanimously almost gave us $150,000 when the CPC wouldn't. So we've already been to the town.
But it wasn't enough for them to approve of the money. They still tabled it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
but
I think we're splitting hairs
Right?
there.
Right, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's just not
But-
motivating.
They
But-
didn't care enough about that.
Yeah, but the other thing is they don't know what other CPCs have done with this stuff. Several of them have done the same thing, and the bonds have gone on. I think Somerville, they were approved maybe in 2016. The money didn't kick in until 2021 because it's a pledge. They're putting the money aside. The town's investing. They're saying, we're going to invest in this when it comes up. And then that way, the fund can go and try to raise leverage money against that. That's what all the other towns are
Tried
doing.
that
Yeah,
though.
well, we tried that and we didn't get that. So what we need to do is respond so that we can change
So the chair, right,
the
she
dynamic
said,
by next time.
and she,
Can I make a suggestion?
Mhm.
Is that the chair of the library trustees will need to go and speak with the person, which is Chris Randall, and ask him what is the next step.
What they need.
That's,
they need.
that's the conversation we're having right now. Is if I go and ask him, he's gonna say, where's your chair?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They do this to me all the time, so I can't really, because I'm not the chair. So these are questions that the chair has to go representing all of us to say, what's the next step?
So you think Chris
And you think
Randall
Chris
is the
Randall
person?
is the first person we should
Yeah.
go to?
Yes,
You don't think
He's
people on the
advisory to
CPC?
the CPC.
because you can see during the dynamics of the discussion is that they were talking about bonding, they were talking about,
Sure.
has this ever been done before, and how would we go about doing it? And they're all looking at Chris. And Chris was giving them, information as he sees fit. So that's the person that we need to find out. So we have the FAQs. I hope that you guys will look through them and agree with some of them and make a decision. And then we could take this FAQ and say, we worked on this. This is the answers that you were looking for. I would definitely put a cover letter on that. And I would like to submit it to all of the members of the CPC committee. But then it's up to the chair to go to them and say, what's the next step? Because I can't go, they won't talk to me.
Well, I'm happy to go, and I think that you're right, that going to Chris is a good first step, because I don't know what exactly his title is, but he's like at least the administrator
Right.
of the CPC, right?
And obviously, and he'll tell you if he's the wrong person.
Right,
And so
right.
once we get together, if everybody agrees with these two FAQs that you looked at and you read through, it seems reasonable. You make comments, whatever you like, you can send them back to me.
Mhm.
We don't have to do it at this meeting. I'll put a cover letter on it and I'll give it to you, and then you can go to Chris.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's good information in the FAQs, but I don't think.
it's not direct, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's not directed enough.
And there's also some things that came up that I very much think we need to address. There was a lot of mistaken information that needs to be corrected. For instance, the chair of the CPC said that only small libraries, only communities of our size that have more than one library are privately funded. And that's just not right.
And
I
then,
think-
and then she,
But no, I just want to say, I think she's misunderstanding what it means when a library is organized as a 501c3. That she doesn't understand that there's an municipal appropriation to that group. So I have that data for those small libraries and what the municipal appropriation is. And on a per capita basis, where Great Barrington sits, which is like in the middle. We're not the highest, we're not the lowest.
So I'd be
So
more than happy
things-
to have you just take the FAQ.
Well, I think what we want to do is
And-
to, I think, here's what I would suggest, Ruby. I think that we should go to Chris first and say, we need to address some misapprehensions and some misleading information that came up. We'd like to do it with a letter. What do you think is the next step? And then follow up again with a letter, because I think it would be a lot for somebody to take in right at once. And I think there's a lot of good stuff in the FAQs, and then there's some things that are, I don't think from your FAQs, but there were two sets.
yeah.
And there were others that they were kind of not correctly stated. Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
just explain where they came from, okay? The transcript one was actually a transcript of what happened.
Right.
And so Pat took that transcript, downsized it, I put in the answers, and that's to step by step answering the questions as they came up
Right,
Sure,
during their thought process.
yeah.
So I thought that was kind of important because they could recall that process and the questions that were there.
Mhm.
Well,
And yeah,
all that work is fantastic, but what people like are
Yes,
sound
no,
bites.
right.
Yeah,
They want
Bullet
question, answer,
you're right.
question,
And so-
answer. They don't even care how you get to it.
Right,
No,
and so that's why there's a Google Doc in there that Frederica, myself, Pat, and worked on, and Don worked on tremendously. And then we had the PDR, the Michael,
Mhm.
go through it,
Right,
and we actually had Ann Brockelman, who is the head honcho at PDR,
Mhm.
go over it as well.
Mhm.
So we've had multiple people go over that FAQ.
Mhm.
So that is a much more complete.
Oh, so that's a different one.
it is,
Yes.
and I didn't mark it up, but there were a couple of things in there, and I forget what they were about. I'd have to go back and look at my notes.
so, but what's the
That I
timing
would-
of that?
I
What's
don't-
our
I don't think-
timing?
Well, I think I should make a meeting with Chris right away.
Oh, that's before
And
we
then
delve
because
into
I'm
the.
allowed to report out to the board. We can't
Mhm.
We can't have a debate over email, but I can report out the results. And then I think we are allowed to agree to have a different meeting, right? Like if it looks like we need a meeting of a certain number of people, or we could designate a subcommittee right now.
Based on the meeting that you had with
Based
Chris.
on the meeting
Yeah,
with Chris, and then get something
Sure.
together.
okay.
Yeah, I'd rather if we just, all agree that Sharon will go and get,
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying that,
that's what
but
she's
as
saying.
far as like, once we learn what we need to, what he
Right.
thinks would be an effective way to respond,
Mhm.
then we're gonna need people to pull that response together.
Right.
Or to
So
write it up.
I think
Or
I
to
could,
edit.
when I
Or to edit.
report out in the email, I could ask for
Mhm.
2 volunteers to
Sure.
help. There can
Sure,
only
sure.
be 3, can't be 4, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the reality might be that Chris says to you, I'm not the person that you wanna speak to.
Right, I might have to go to somebody else.
Right.
So, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
I was actually wondering if we had to go directly to the chair of CPC, but I
Yeah,
like starting with Chris. I like the
Yeah.
idea of starting with Chris.
Yes.
Okay, I will say, again, and I think I said it at our last meeting, I thought that the, presentation by the architects,
Mhm.
when was that, at the December meeting
Mhm.
of the CPC? I thought it was very good, and I thought it was so professional and so calmly done and so clear about it. I think that should have held the day, but what is starting to come up are funny things like it's too big, or it doesn't have to be a Taj Mahal.
Well, that's because they don't know.
It's just
That's fine.
they don't know yet, but the initial reaction is a no, and we've got to get the initial reaction to, I'd like to learn more.
Right.
And that's our important
That's just
first
like we were
step.
saying about, monument, yes, right? And that initially, years and years ago, it was a resounding no.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And why,
Many times.
right? Why was it no then, but yes now? And that was part of it because we were left to think
Mhm.
about the way we perceive things
Mhm.
until this time where it passed, that we were really given the information
Oh,
with
the town, you
clarity,
mean, the town.
Yes.
Yeah.
which we didn't really have that, like the tours. And like.
I think the
all
tours
kinds
are
of
a
other
great,
things.
the tours are important. I
And
think the
and
tours are-
also the amount of money. That was a very, very big thing that we didn't have the first time around, where you can actually go on and you can see how your taxes are gonna be affected.
Yeah.
And that was essential, because people were saying, oh, I thought it was gonna be worse.
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty worse for me.
Yeah.
So, it's just like, anyway, let's just move on. Okay, so that's our decision. We'll go to the administrator, Chris Rimble. Find out what our next, how we respond.
Right.
Not just what does he want us to say, but just what's the process?
And what do they need?
And
What
and
they
then
need from
I
us.
will report out to all of you. It sounds like there will be some action that will be needed, so we'll round up a small subgroup and move on that, okay?
So I just wanna make sure that we can't assume that we are kicked out of this round.
Yeah, we have to be
Well, we
because they
are.
spent their money.
They already spent it
No,
on
no,
other
This,
things.
this
They didn't
request,
spend anything yet.
Well, they have the list of what
They
they
have
have
the-
the
Yeah,
money
and-
to.
And when opportunities come up, you have to revise the list.
what we're requesting is for them to have the mindset to start planning so that they could bond this money for next year, and then the next year.
Okay, let's develop our strategy once we hear
Yeah.
from Chris about the art. Let's practice the art of the possible.
Right.
So we have a plan on CPC.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good.
Thank you.
Is there any other unfinished business? I don't think there is, but anybody have any? Before we move on to special orders? Okay, in special orders, first, we're going to start with soliciting opinions about the residential tax exemption proposal. This is a proposal by which all second homeowners and some full-time homeowners, AKA residents, will see a tax increase if, and also, no matter how much a house is worth, if you're a second homeowner, you would see a tax increase. And this is, and it's a shifting of some of the tax burden onto second homeowners and to high value
High
property.
expensive, they use the word expensive.
Did they use
She
expensive?
used the word expensive.
And then, and in an attempt to lower the tax burden on full-time residents whose houses are assessed
Of a
below
lesser
this.
value.
Yeah, now I don't know what that number is. I happen to see materials in the zoning board of appeals that was suggesting that the difference would happen somewhere in the 700 to 800.
Doesn't seem like a lot to me.
It's an average.
I thought it was the average of the community.
Oh, I don't think so.
They generate
I-
what they'll take off of your assessment.
But you see, that doesn't make sense because if it was just a simple average, they would have had the number already. I understood that they have to parcel out. We're getting beyond what
Right.
we should be doing, but the reason they didn't have the number when the assessor was presenting this to the select board was that it was a process of going through and determining who were second homeowners across the board, and then who were residents in a bracket, and that was going to be, I mean, it sounded like it was gonna take a while. So we don't know.
Which is also a question. Does the town have the resources to administer such a change, aside from how it will affect residents?
You know, this
Well, why don't we
isn't part of this isn't part of our discussion.
No, it's
but,
not part of our discussion. right.
But my memory is that question came up
Mhm.
in the select board meeting when it was presented. And that I remember Liz mentioning, answering a question to that effect. And it seemed as if there was some initial investment of time, but then after that period, it would run
Right.
with the same capacity. But I don't think that's here. Like, I did write to the town manager to ask what it is that she was hoping for. And she wanted us to talk about if we had an opinion at all, how we think this would affect libraries and library users. And that's our wheelhouse.
That's our wheelhouse.
I just want to mention, because I'm just looking at this now, the exemption is a fixed amount that is calculated annually and is based on the average residential value in Great Barrington for that year.
Right, but then I don't know how they define residential.
She said it
Well,
would take
not
time to
business.
tease out the businesses and things like that.
Right, because it was earlier and then it doesn't apply to business.
So the question that is on the table right now is how does it affect the library?
How would it
How
potentially?
we think, what is our opinion of this, I guess, based on how we think it might affect the library? And I'm just going to say that it's okay for us not to offer an opinion,
Mhm.
but I do think that we should entertain the question.
I don't really know how it will affect the library.
The question is how, okay, if you follow it through, right? If this goes through and perhaps an outcome would be that the town then has fewer second home people. I mean, maybe they will choose to build their second home somewhere else where the taxes aren't quite as high. If their tax is going to be higher because of the higher price of their second home. If that's true, will that dynamic affect the library? My feeling is it will make the library more necessary, like the library will become even more important. However, we will not have the influence or income of that group of people, so I think, I don't know, it's a catch-22 in my opinion.
Okay, I just want to present that in 2022, Stockbridge went through this
Right,
same conversation.
yeah,
And the end result was, they felt, number one, and now they have 60%
right,
of second homes.
right.
Okay, so
Sorry,
they decided not.
60%.
Yes, so they decided that number one, it's unfair shift of burden. Number two, it's a divisive policy, meaning it's you against me.
Right.
Sure.
So what does that mean?
So it did fail?
You have
Yeah,
second
it did.
homeowners
Yes.
who already, most of them don't use our schools. Right? They don't use, they don't.
But again, what does that
they
have
don't
to-
use our schools.
Mhm.
The least we could do is offer them library services and robust library services.
So you would say no to this then?
So I would say that the library's view is that if you become a divisive community, you have them against us. They're supporting us. What do they have to gain?
So it's not good. So your opinion is it's not a good thing?
So if that were to happen, the library will play a much more stronger role, because that's a advantage of living here, is that we have a robust
But
library.
people won't be happy though if they're paying more, right?
Right, so the second homeowners are gonna say, I don't use the high school, the only thing I use is services, like cleaning roads and so forth.
Well, one of the things they always say is, you don't get a vote. You're gonna
And they
tax
don't
us
even
more.
get, they don't even get to vote.
Yeah, it's
And
not,
so you have this divisive
Yeah.
policy. And the amount that you actually exempt is, is limited. So what that means is that if you're a seasonal community, you can have the
Okay,
percentage.
let's
as high
not do
as
the
50%.
seasonal, let's do the RTE,
Yeah,
because seasonal
Is
is
separate.
the second one.
is another
Yeah.
issue.
So I
Right.
think that the seasonal would allow that percentile to go up to as much as 50%, which would mean a more significant impact, okay?
so I'm just looking at, it says solicit opinions, right?
You're next, Pat, after
Okay.
after Sandy.
So if, my opinion, I don't know about the effect on the library, honestly, I can't envision it.
It's like chaos theory.
Yeah,
Right,
I
it's
can't
like-
really see it, you know? As far as a resident though. I would really need to get exact numbers to see how high my taxes are gonna go.
But that's not our job right now.
No, so my opinion
Right.
is, I wouldn't be happy.
You know what?
Yeah.
Happy about it.
I wanna bring Pat in, who has his hand raised,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna,
Just a
then
couple of
I'm
things.
going to actually agree with you, Sandy, very much. Pat,
Well, we spent 8 minutes on this so far, so just, I mean, I think we should be careful on time. I would just say one thing. I just think this screws the renters in Housatonic because they're living in second homeowners properties. And the
But
thing,
I understand, Pat, sorry for interrupting, but I understand that there is an exemption for rental properties where there are full-time residents, where they're living in there
Yeah.
full-time.
yeah,
I don't know how they're going to talk about an administrative nightmare.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
that's
you're
one.
right, but.
So I
right.
think the thing is that's the problem. The people on the bottom are really going to take a hit. They're going to
here's
pay
what
for this stuff too.
yeah, here's what I wanna say, the people on the bottom are going to benefit, they're not going to, this is revenue neutral. And
Right,
it's
yeah, for the town.
shifting,
It's
Right.
shifting.
it's shifting the
Sure.
burden based on an assessed value of a home, and the assessed value of the home is set by the town as
Right.
well.
Right.
So
Right.
you get caught in a bit of a feedback loop here.
Yeah.
And that, and I would say that, I mean, I have my own personal opinions
Right.
that I will offer as a resident of Great Barrington. But I do believe this is going to make Great Barrington a less attractive community for second homeowners.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of the vitality of our community comes from that increase in
Sure.
excitement
I agree.
of the
Yeah.
weekends and of the summers and
I
of the
agree.
ski, on
Mhm.
great ski days. And that vitality makes its way to the library, and I think we will feel the loss
Yeah.
of second homeowners.
And why, and why are there so few communities across the Commonwealth that take
There are
advantage?
very
Very few.
So,
Yeah.
let's do, but go ahead.
So to that point, that's because it's at both ends where most of the
Right.
the.
And the Cape,
tourism
right.
And stuff happens. I don't know, I think that, a lot of the second homeowners will not really feel it. It's sort of like in New York City when they say that people are gonna move because they're gonna raise taxes on the wealthy,
Mhm.
nobody's moving,
Mhm.
they're staying put, they wanna be there. I think it is more about it being divisive.
Mhm.
I don't think the money is really gonna be the issue for people who own, multi-million-dollar homes in Great Barrington. If they own multi-million-dollar homes and it's their second home and they spend very little time there, they can afford to pay the difference in taxes.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's the money.
But Lauren,
But I think
Lauren,
it is the divisiveness, which is not good.
but I will
it's
tell you,
not
I have a
just-
friend who has a home in the city, he's looking for a place here in the Berkshires as her second home. And she said that she's not looking to go into Great Barrington, that she's
Because of
because of the taxes.
Oh, yeah, but there's a lot of that.
And I
Well, we
actually,
already have high taxes.
We already have
And
high
this
taxes.
is higher.
Well, I
So
think
they are
right now
looking
we're just
elsewhere.
about people who are already here.
but the other thing.
Right,
you
it could
said-
affect it down the line.
Down the
right?
line
But
as a
this
choice.
is why, but it is a misnomer to call this a residential tax exemption, because if you are a resident, in a town, in town, full-time, and your house is valued, is assessed above whatever this
Right.
magic
It's not
number
here.
is,
Right.
then we
You're
are
still
being treated
looking-
as if we are second
So
home.
it's not
So
just
that- right,
second.
so that
And-
is-
And
That seems like that should be. Yeah.
I think that a lot of our library supporters might be in this boat, people who are longtime residents here, whose houses have
Gone up in
gone
value.
up in value. I think the impact, I mean, we are a middle-class institution,
Mhm.
and many middle-class people in town are living in houses that are valued as if they are upper middle income or upper income.
Mhm.
And I think that if the town, the town has already put a significant burden on us with the school bond.
On taxpayers in general, you mean?
Yeah, on all taxpayers,
Yeah.
but disproportionately
Right.
being paid by people in
Right.
these high valued
Right.
houses. I just can't believe that it isn't gonna affect us, but. I don't, but we're not experts in tax, and I don't know what I don't know what they're trying to
for it, I'm just
I
saying.
don't- they're trying to
I see.
solve for here,
Yeah.
you know?
What's your feeling, Dawn, as the
The library
library
director.
director?
It's, I kind of feel like Sandy, that there are so many variables that it's really hard to imagine how it would affect library patrons, because our patrons are everybody,
Right,
Yeah.
from people who have nothing to
Right.
people who have a lot.
right.
And I have no sense of the proportions,
Mhm.
and how, those different people would be affected.
Or
I
have
do
they-
think that maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if people had more money, they would rely, due to a tax cut, they could rely less on the library. Or maybe if people were paying more taxes, they might consider using the library when they didn't before. It's just, there's so many different kinds of.
Yeah, there's no
Things-
obvious, there's no
Yeah, we
obvious.
Have a sense, we just know that there are people who are very well off that use the library, and there are people that have nothing that use the library.
I think it's more of a mindset.
Which is the really great
Which is
thing
the
about
really
libraries.
about libraries. It's a mindset, right? It's not the money.
I'd like to pose you a question, is that at Guido's, I've heard people that are coming in from, New York City or New Jersey or whatever, and they request a special time where they can go into Guido's on their own without all the other people.
No,
Yes.
okay, this is.
Now we're going.
So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that, what if they start doing that to our libraries? What if they say, you know what? My portion of the tax is definitely more than the rest of you.
No,
guys.
that's a no.
So
No.
That's a hard no.
Need special hours.
This is the,
No.
some things are more.
It's a hard no.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the consensus of the meeting on this is that we are not tax experts. We don't understand why the town is looking at this revenue neutral scheme to change the relative burdens on people based on the assessed value of their house.
Well, I understand why. We all understand why.
They're just trying to
It's
reduce,
tough,
reduce
you know?
the.
The taxes are tough for a lot of people.
But I don't know why they think this is a good solution, I guess is what I would say.
No, I guess,
Um,
maybe there's another.
Because it's
But that
done
we-
elsewhere, so they're.
but that
Trying
we,
it.
She
we
doesn't,
do
she.
feel strongly that it could lead to a divisive.
Hearts, she comes from the Cape, right? The town manager. So
Right.
that's where it has been
Well,
successful.
I don't
I get
care
it.
though, but I mean, they're gonna move a foot.
They allowed it.
Right, they do it. Yeah, yeah, but that's where that's coming
The
from.
percentage of towns in Great Barrington that are second homeowners. I felt like they were saying it was something like 15, only
homes.
15%.
No, we don't have it, but in order to qualify for a seasonal community, your second homeowners have to be more than 12.5%.
Yeah, but we are not at 60%.
No. Stockbridge, yeah.
So if it's only 15% of homes that are affected because they're not residents, then how much of the burden is being shifted within our community?
Two residents.
To residents from residents.
Yeah,
And that's what we feel might lead to the divisiveness.
yeah,
Is that a consensus?
yeah.
Let's look at this a different way. Now, libraries stand for DEI, right? Equality. Isn't that what we stand for? That's why anybody could come in to do whatever they need, no matter what your background is. So looking at the DEI, which the library stands for, is this exemption good for DEI or is it bad for DEI?
But if you're talking about if it's good for the library,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not talking about if it's good for DEI. Yeah, it is good for DEI, but is it good for the library? It's different.
yeah,
It's not the same.
yeah,
I mean, you may say that people who are on the higher end for their homes, if their taxes go up higher, they won't contribute as much as a donor base to the library
yeah,
because they're already paying more.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's
They're
right.
paying an extra couple of $1,000.
That's right. They'll say, I was gonna give this money to the
Right.
library, but
But-
no, I'm not because I'm paying taxes.
Exactly,
That is a
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
it is a-
So it could be so many, like you say.
Yeah.
there's so many elements to
Okay,
it.
so we will try to, we have all of that together and Laura is very good at synthesizing us. But I think we have a sense of what this means. Now, seasonal communities, I'm gonna move on to say, this one seems, while it does include the potential for taxing, it seems as if it gave us other tools as well.
It was based,
Can you
it seems like it was
summarize it a
based
little
more
bit?
on building and changing the zoning so that we
Right.
could, so that we
Oh,
could
yes.
build, you know, tiny
Smaller
homes on
homes, like
smaller
property.
lots and stuff.
Yes, I
To
like
kind of
that.
ease that.
I thought that, I actually thought that might be a little bit reverse in that if we become a seasonal community, which means so much of the way that aid and
Is
is
given.
calculated is done on full-time residents.
Right.
So Great Barrington is like, what, 7,184 or whatever. But we know that our population balloons
Sure,
because we're a
season,
seasonal
yeah.
community, we have many visitors.
Mhm.
And we also, it balloons because of second homeowners. The actual people we serve are so much more than our population
Right.
number.
Sure.
And that's just not true in communities where there isn't that kind of tourism
Right.
draw. So the seasonal community designation made available more grants,
Yeah.
more opportunities for infrastructure.
Yes.
But in return, Great Barrington would have to agree to certain zoning
Zoning
changes
Mhm.
that would allow for tiny homes.
Yeah. Little dense
Smaller lots, yeah.
area.
To me, I thought that Massachusetts had already decided that we were gonna
I
allow.
thought there was
ADUs.
something, yeah. Didn't the governor,
The
in her
governor-
last plan, her last.
More than just ADUs though.
It might be.
Yes,
It might be.
there's what
There's
they're
much more
calling
detail on it.
not affordable housing,
No,
not workforce housing.
Attainable.
Attainable housing for someone like me, frankly,
attainable.
who doesn't qualify for the others, but also can't afford to live in Great Barrington.
I think this is great because more building means more library patrons, right?
I feel like I was more attracted to the
That's good.
seasonal communities.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Proposition than to the RTE, because it seemed as if it was really giving the town more tools to.
Yeah.
Makes new
And people
tools
to work
available
here
to
and be
address the
here.
unique housing challenges of seasonal communities.
Housing.
You know, including the service workers.
Yes.
And you know what I would like to say about this is that actually, when you think about attainable housing and affordable housing, what makes that almost as if we're pulling at different parts of this is that if you build an affordable house and offer it to somebody, but then your taxes on that house are so high that it becomes less affordable.
Right.
I like focusing on affordability, on population fluctuations and those tools more than, I feel like this was a more flexible.
Yeah,
interesting-
I agree.
And as far as the library goes, it could affect staff retention.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
If
That's a good
there
point.
is
Good point.
housing available.
Attainable, affordable housing.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that I don't see any negative except, some zoning changes, which I don't think are negative, but.
No, and I did read into that whole thing about the
Yeah.
tiny houses
Yeah.
and stuff. And the town would still be allowed to exclude mobile home,
Oh,
a
right,
trailer
right.
put down.
Right.
So it would have to
There
be.
are some, right.
I think they're called mobile tiny homes or something, the way they, so you couldn't just roll in something.
Right.
And have it be a permanent, it has to be a permanent structure.
Do you
So-
know if this tiny houses are restricted from short-term rentals?
I don't know.
Well, part of the whole thing is, year-round occupancy restrictions. Communities can acquire legal restrictions that require certain homes to be used as year-round primary residences at least 10 months annually. This helps protect existing housing stock from being converted into seasonal or short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So I would think that would cover any kind of.
Right,
10
any
months.
kind of house, yeah.
So
And I-
ADUs, they have restrictions of ADUs to prevent them from being rent.
So Great Barrington already has some restrictions on rentals, right?
You're
Yes,
supposed to
and-
register.
Yeah, and then they have a certain amount of time that you're allowed to rent. But these coming in would be, or if a tiny house were built on a non-conforming lot,
Mhm.
it would be because it was providing full-time residential housing for at least 10 months out of the year.
Right, right.
That's good.
So it's
So
meant
that's
to
good.
increase the
That's a good
housing
thing.
stock.
which, we went to this whole thing, what was it, a few years
Yeah,
ago?
yeah.
With, and a town meeting, I think it was actually during COVID.
Remember the
meetings
lines,
outside and,
remember they had the slides with the house with the spaces in between the houses, I remember that.
I don't necessarily remember that, I just remembered that, there was a lot of talk, there were people who were upset because they wanted to be able to spend most of the year away from Berkshire's and rent their house out as Airbnb, so they could
Right.
make money while they're
Right.
away, and then come back and spend, say,
The nice
some,
part of the year,
Yeah.
right,
which is what a lot of people
of course.
do, which is why there's those 2 months. But
Yeah.
it's very difficult if you're trying to find a home to live in
Mhm.
and you can only live there for 10 months of the year.
Right,
And then you're expected to find
Right.
somewhere else to go for 2 months.
right,
Yeah.
And that's been an issue in the
it's been
Berkshires.
that, yeah,
Right.
yes,
Right.
So I still don't quite understand the math on that as being, well, certainly not great for renters. Renters need to live there.
because
Right.
people can make a
year.
lot more money with an.
Well, right,
with
and that's
an
what they do.
SDR than
Right.
by renting your.
Right, and that's what they do, but
So you're saying you don't like
It's
the
not
10
great.
months part? You want it to be 12 months?
well, yeah, it's
Okay.
like, 'cause, I mean, who?
There you go.
who
But
can
again-
rent a
again-
place for 10 months and go there for the other
right,
two?
right,
Mhm. Yeah.
go where?
So we do think that,
But
That-
overall, I think.
Overall, and as far as library, how it affects
Well,
libraries, we
Dawn was
are,
talking
yeah,
about staff retention,
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
staff recruitment,
staff
you know.
recruitment,
Um,
places for staff to live.
But that we feel strongly that allowing owners to rent only for 10 of 12 months and then make a lot of money in the two
Yeah.
high season months would disadvantage the renters. And so that would
Kind of defeat the
kind of
purpose.
defeat the purpose
Yeah.
of the benefit.
Mhm.
So, but I don't think you have to do it that way.
No, you
I
don't
think
have
that's
to.
the
I was
minimum.
gonna say, you're hoping
Right.
for a nice landlord, right?
Yeah.
A landlord who,
Or the town could say it has to be
Yeah.
full-time housing.
Mhm.
and I also know, I've talked to several homeowners who say that yes, it's money, potentially a lot more money for those 2 months, but they worry about, there's admin work that, and fix up the house. I mean, there's a lot of other things which they might not want to do to
Oh,
do
you mean
that
as a landlord.
as a landlord. So it's not like a guarantee. I mean, there's a lot of, yeah.
But you know, it's a lot to run an Airbnb.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot.
You know, when Airbnb first started, I was doing that, but I was renting a room in my house during the 4 years that my daughter was in college. I would have people would come on weekends and I changed her room completely and turned it into an Airbnb type room. And it was great, but I lived there.
Right, you live there.
Do you know what I mean? And it was great, just the extra money.
Sure.
But then, it started catching on when people were buying houses
Just to do that.
just to do that.
Right.
But actually the point I was gonna make is that even just doing that and I lived there, it was a lot of work.
A lot of work. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I had to keep the house impeccable. I had to, change sheets and
And also,
it was a lot.
you never knew really who was coming into your
No,
house.
but I would say it was 98% a really wonderful experience. Because I actually met people from all over the
Sure.
world
Yeah.
who lived with me for 2 days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was kind of great.
Right.
And I actually did give them breakfast.
Mhm.
And so it was really nice. I got to meet people.
It was,
It was sort of like
social.
traveling.
Yeah, only in reverse. Traveling in reverse, yeah.
But then, it really turned into this other thing.
Yeah.
Well, I do think, I mean, that anything that would save housing for home ownership
Mhm.
and get it out of corporate purchasing for renting out,
Right.
short-term rentals or rate, rising rates.
Right.
Is all to the good.
Right.
But I think this one seems a more flexible and interesting proposal than the other one. It seems as if it would benefit all of us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and excuse me, 1 second, Ruby, in answer to your question, I just saw this, it's under the zoning changes. Communities also must allow by right development of tiny houses, provided they are restricted for year-round occupancy
Guys.
Oh, good.
and meet health and safety standards. Communities still have the flexibility to allow, further regulate or prohibit movable tiny houses. So, yeah, so
good.
if it were that case, that is.
I think that would definitely help with staff retention.
Definitely.
And I think even recruitment, because there are people who likely just say, well, I can't even look, I can't even. apply for
Absolutely.
this job.
Absolutely.
They have to drive 45 minutes.
Right.
Right,
Right. Good.
I
All
think
right.
this is a good time for you to bring those.
yeah, cookies and pizza.
Yeah, so those are, this is all from Berkshire Mountain Bakery, and those
Oh,
are
nice.
Richard's maple pecan shortbread with cookies with.
Kelsey's on a first name
Might wanna
basis
cut
with
it
everyone.
up.
Okay, it is now 7:20. Let's all stand up, take 3 minutes, and then we'll come back. To
Oh, for a little.
the meeting.
Yes.
I just have to stand up.
I know. Is there a bathroom down there? Oh, there are fountains over here. Oh, there are fountains? Yeah. Of course there. Yes. Yeah. Do you want fountains?
What's doing with the sculptor?
Joe, at the moment, he's in Laos.
Okay.
But yeah, he's.
Did they shut down?
They should have.
On,
No one here.
on. Is this on or off?
This is.
The meeting is still on.
Well, when you were talking about the cookies, it was like first aid days.
No, Richard and I are already very excited. And we put our kids up together, we were tango partners, oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yes.
that's old buddy.
Yeah. Now, see, you brought something else.
Oh, there you go.
I thought. I never discussing this.
So he's still on.
Yeah, but nobody can.
That's good, so.
What's this one? This one's good.
Oh, that is the pesto fiesta. It's supposed to have chicken on it, but I don't like chicken on my pizza, so I had got it without the chicken, so.
Some vegetarian.
I know,
Just
I know.
natural. Oh my God.
No, yeah, so
I
it's
like
pesto.
pizza.
No, I know, gross. And I even am not a vegetarian anymore, but I still don't want meat on my pizza. Roasted peppers, caramelized onions.
great.
Pesto.
Yeah, that one was excellent.
As soon as Ruby's back.
Yes.
All right, so we have to get through two more big documents. For initial response. We just waiting for Laura to come back and then we will be on.
Here.
I haven't been in any other committee meetings where they've talked about these. Agreement, these proposals, have you?
I don't know if I haven't been to a meeting since.
Since the initial
Since they were
presentation,
present, yeah.
but I mean, for instance, I know the zoning board,
Meetings were being asked.
yeah, the zoning board of appeals, I think, met last week. Like last Wednesday or Thursday, and they talked about it, and then, quite frankly, I was thinking I would zoom in just to see how they did it, but they're such a different, I mean, aren't they tied to assessing in some way, shape or form, the
The zoners.
zoning people?
Is
What
it,
was
I'll
there,
give them more
or are they
questions.
just,
I don't know.
they might just
I'll
be
look at it.
appeals, is it a board of appeals, or is it?
what was their reasoning to endorse both?
Oh, I don't know if they did,
I thought they endorsed both.
I don't know.
Lauren, thanks so much for being.
Yeah,
Oh,
really nice of you.
I've never had pesto on pizza.
Oh,
really?
really? Pesto.
Love it.
It's really good.
It is all better when it's a little, at least warm.
I'm sorry, we didn't scoff them with
I wasn't hungry yet either.
Oh, you're back. Back, okay. 7:27, we're coming back to order. After a few break. Okay. Next up is the draft MOU to be signed by the library, the trustees, the friends and the fund. Now, I want to just say again, this is a draft. It is adapted from a model that was provided by the American Library Association, specifically through the United for Libraries, which is the library development arm of ALA, largely focused on serving friends, funds, and foundations. So we took this one and we put in the information such as that we could glean from various sources. So in the preamble, the friends and the fund, the language of these paragraphs is taken from the articles of organization for each of the of those affiliated organizations. And then it kind of sets the table by saying, this is the stated purpose of the friends, this is the stated purpose of the fund. And then it says that but it recognizes as the context that these organizations are independent nonprofits. However, they are supporting libraries. So they are supporting organizations, and therefore they work in collaboration with both the library and trustees and in concert with the stated mission and strategic goals of Great Barrington Libraries. And then the library has provided and will, subject to available resources, but then this is also important, subject to the limitations placed on us as a town department overseen by an elected municipal body. Provide as much assistance as we can to these organizations to facilitate the operation and the operation in fulfillment of the library's mission. So that is a preamble, and then we go into communications and coordination. So I hope you all had a chance to look at this, and I'd like to receive questions and comment. Our goal is to iron out this draft so that when we take it to the Friends and the Fund for discussion, we're coming not with anything that later on the trustees are going to say they didn't want in there or didn't agree with, okay? So how would you like to proceed?
I mean, I personally didn't see anything that stood out to me that was off, wrong, questionable. I thought it was very well organized, very clear. So I don't see anything that I can bring up. Maybe I'll look at it again and again, but so far I haven't seen anything that was questionable to me.
And did you feel that some of your concerns were addressed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's the other
definitely
part of it, like, did we leave anything out?
No. Responsibilities, delineation, I thought things were very clearly stated.
I think one of the most important things, I mean, it's all important, but the connection, communication between these groups, how, you know, we need to, and maybe that's the one thing that we should spell out, talks about inviting the groups to our meeting or them inviting us to their meeting. Is there a specific frequency of that or?
One of the things I know we have to be careful about is that we're in an open meeting here. So it's fine for all of us to join this meeting. It would not be fine for a quorum of us to attend a meeting that wasn't an open meeting. So if we wanted to meet with either of these organizations, if we wanted everybody to attend, and we were making it that, it would have to be a joint meeting that would be done under our auspices,
I see.
because we would need to be abiding by open meeting law. So I do think that there would have to be some coordination.
Right.
Because if we agree that we're sending our agendas to one another, to one another's organizations, we have to make sure that not too many trustees show up at a meeting. You know, that, I mean, that's just the way it would go.
Right.
But I think that, you know, we had originally thought that if we put a liaison on a committee, that would be a conduit for information, but that's putting a lot of burden on one person, and it's maybe not enough coordination.
So what Laura is just saying, and I see that spot.
Where are we?
Four.
Communications and coordination number 4.
Okay,
You said updates to be received at least quarterly. So there is some definition there. on
There is some.
timing. Yeah,
But then it says provide regular updates to the trustees. All right, at least quarterly.
at least
Okay.
quarterly. So that's fine.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's saying you have to send a report once a month.
Right.
I mean, that would be
cumbersome.
That would be
I think.
I think
Yes.
this is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have seen in these agreements some kind of wording about a possible dissolution, if that's the word, of the organization. And at that point, what happens to that legal 501(c)(3)? Can it be I'm not sure what happens to it. I think it has to be closed out by the old organization so that it can be used by a new organization. If they don't close it out, then another friends group or another fun group cannot form.
Mm.
And I don't know enough about this, but I'm not sure that that's right.
Yeah, I
It
would say it's
might
not.
be that it's transferable.
It is, I mean,
yeah.
if, I think I think this is a good point to put in, that if a governing board of one of these organizations decides that it wants to resign from the organization, then the library should be alerted, and the library will work to put new officers in those roles. But I mean, mostly 501(c)(3)s, board members have certain terms and officers have terms, and there's a kind of constant recruitment. So that the original founding board may not still be there, but the organization has ongoingness. But I think you're right that there is something in our bylaws. In the library trustee bylaws, there's a provision that if the Friends dissolves, the library is responsible for reforming them. But we would certainly still want to use the same for EIN number, the same nonprofit number. So adding something in about, in the event that either organization wishes to resign its role, they'll inform the trustees, and the trustees will endeavor to recruit new.
We would do
members.
that even for the GBLF?
Probably through the Friends, we could get the Friends to do it. I mean, it'd be a problem if both groups resigned automatically.
I'm just thinking, I mean,
No, I think you're right.
We
That's
fill
a good
in?
point.
we fill their spots? If
Well,
they
no,
leave?
No, we
If
don't.
Dawn said, what happens if one of these organizations
Disbands.
Right,
It's
so
banned.
we have to reorganize it.
It has to be reorganized, and that would fall under it's certainly our bylaws provide that falls under.
Even
our
though we
roles to
did,
be the Friends.
even though we didn't organize it initially?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, this is an affiliated organization of the library, so. Even if we
But they didn't
personally,
just do it for no, what I mean, some people didn't just come along and say, let's make a fund for the Great Barrington.
no, they must
Library.
have talked to some
We-
people
we
on the
Basically
trustees.
asked for that,
Yeah.
because we
And we said yes.
wanted
remember
fundraising,
that, yeah.
well, we wanted fundraising for the Ramsdale.
Ramsdale.
Right.
And the Friends were not
Equipped.
interested
Yeah.
or equipped to use their
Right,
nonprofit status to be our fundraising arm.
right.
So, we went out and asked people to, create a fundraising arm. Does that sound,
Oh,
am I right about
I
that?
was
I didn't
before
do
my
that.
time, before my
I
time.
didn't, I wasn't involved with recruiting people.
But I think
Well,
there's,
I don't know that we recruited them. We had people who were interested in being
Taking
part
on
of
that role,
and
yeah.
they formed.
I mean, I think that
That-
we've given the name Great Barrington Library, or libraries to both of the organizations to use. I do think that we have some responsibility to try to help it continue, even if we can't, in terms of the fund, be actively involved with the kind of fundraising they'll be doing. I think it's probably a necessary
Mhm.
responsibility.
Is it a legal thing though? I mean, is that what libraries do, public libraries do? They actually maintain those kind of,
This is an
Funds.
extraordinary
Yeah,
circumstance, right?
necessarily. This came about because of the Ramsdale Fund.
Right. Right,
And
otherwise
it's
there would
called the
be,
Great Barrington Libraries Fund.
So,
But
yeah,
But I think, and I actually don't know the answer to this, so maybe someone else here does know, but, that fund is calling itself the Great Barrington Library Fund and not the Ramsdale Renovation Fund or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know the reason for that. Does anybody, Pat, Ruby, do you know the reason why that entity, chose to call themselves that instead of specifically about the Ramsdale?
Yeah, I think that they're hoping this goes on in perpetuity. And we already know that Mason is going to need to be redone around 2040. And so the idea is, in the best of all worlds, this thing is keeps going, and then it can have other uh, utility as well, as far as besides a capital project for Ramsdale. Maybe it's they, give money for programming or something else, so they can veer their fundraising on that. So it's a good thing. They're thinking in the long term.
So I think
Someone
if we were going,
just said, someone named Melissa just said they could answer questions. Did you see
Who?
that come up?
That was Outlook, though. I think that was Sharon's email.
oh, that was AI.
Okay. no,
Let's
I'm
listen
sorry.
into it. Google's listening.
No issue.
Okay, I think
Okay,
that-
so-
you gave us the answer, so thank you.
So I think that in this amendment, if we were going to add this, and I do think, given that there's already something in our bylaws that this is advisable, I think it would go in the final section, wouldn't it? Like,
Right.
after termination, there
New
would be,
amendments, yeah.
it would be maybe 24, item 24 under the
Review and amendment.
review and
Right,
amendment.
item number 24.
So do you think we would add something there about in the event that the leadership of either affiliated organization wishes to resign, that they'll inform the trustees who will endeavor to
fill those positions.
Yeah, I mean, what we don't want to lose the nonprofit
Right.
designation and have to go through a whole reincorporation process. So the best thing would be for us to just find some volunteers.
I wonder if they
Take it
would do
on.
that themselves.
So, okay, so that makes,
Depends on why they're disbanding,
Yeah,
right?
some people I think would do that sometimes. They say,
Well, they
okay, I'm
would,
out. I'm gonna
but
bring
what
some-
if, and we're not saying they wouldn't, but what if they didn't?
Yeah.
This is sort of like
Would it
the
just die?
worst case scenario kind of thing.
Would we let it die? Could we let it die? Is it appropriate to let it die
Well, that's the thing, if
legally?
it's dying or dead, and that name is still out there, how do we get access to that name?
Well, maybe
back?
it wouldn't be dead and then a new organization would form and with a different name,
Have to be a different name.
right? It's just like anybody.
Well, I don't know if you can do that, like it could still be registered to the. I guess it could be, because it's not actually registered to the library,
It's registered to them,
to them,
right?
yeah.
But the purpose is tied to the library. I think the library should pony out, should say, we'll take on the responsibility of
I think
trying
maybe,
to keep it going if it.
I mean, I don't know the information and I don't know the legal status of it or the library's involvement, the trustees' involvement. Maybe you need to find that out.
That's what the
That's
MOU
what
is
the
about.
MOU
That's
is
what-
about.
That's what the
That's what we're
MOU is
doing
about.
I know, but if you just write it in, you have to know that it's
Possible.
possible.
Mm.
Can't just write anything in, right? You have to know that it's possible to do. That it just doesn't just disband and start over again with a different name.
I think we have to look at their articles of incorporation that the state approved. This all may be in there and we can't override that. So I think that would be the first place to look.
but I do feel a little bit like we jumped to the very end of the.
I didn't.
Well, it was like, no,
Well, she did open it up for any comments, you know. You didn't hear anything, so she went to the end. That makes sense.
no, I was just saying that Dawn's comment, if we're gonna put it in, we'll go at the end, but Pat has a point. I actually have the articles of organization for both of the entities. I don't think, I think that's a bylaws issue. I don't know if it's gonna be in there, but I'll find out. And draft something that,
And you'll check on it.
I'll check on it, okay? So Sharon will research the solution.
Also with the Friends, and Lauren, you may know about this, but the Friends blew up somewhere around 2009 or 2010. They went out of business. And I think Holly was the one that resurrected it at that point. So if precedent, we can probably just look at how that went, how it was assigned or transferred or whatever. That might be helpful on that.
Yeah, I don't have any recollection about that. I was not on the board yet. That board.
You know, it's probably.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so as we said, let's go back to the beginning under understandings and agreements. Communication and coordination, we seem to have gone through. Any other?
Did you want the friends, like the friends, they have a line item in each of our meetings. So they report what they've been doing. Do you want to do that the same with the funds? Because we've never invited them to come and report what they've done. And you were saying like every 4 months, they would come with a report, but not every month.
Well, they could come however much they wanted to, but it's saying at least. I mean,
I was saying like a standard line item that includes them as part of your.
yeah, well, I mean, I think that this agreement gives both affiliates
The opportunity.
the opportunity to do that. I think that we actually did have a regular report about the fund until the fund told us it wasn't going
Right.
doing fundraising.
Mhm.
And we said, well, we'll revisit this later. That
Yeah.
there didn't seem much of a point,
What
but,
happened was that I was the liaison, so I would report
right,
first what they're doing to the trustees
Right.
meeting. But then we kind of stopped that after a while. So do you want that to come back? Because in a way, I think that with progress, it's always good to have open communication, so they know what we're doing and we know what they're doing. If you see what.
if you look at number
That's,
4,
yeah,
look at the cross-board communications, it's all there. The provision is there for them to provide regular updates to the trustees in writing or in person at trustee meetings.
maybe we need to.
We're not
clarify.
saying they have to come every month and give a report, but we're saying we'd like to hear something at least quarterly.
Every quarter.
Right, so I'm.
But it's like,
we should
I mean, we're
say
trying not to
specifically.
put an unnecessary burden on. I think reporting once a month is a
So
little.
you want to cancel that liaison kind of relationship? Remember we had.
Well, we have on our to-do list, we set the goals last month,
Mhm.
that the first, one of the things we're gonna do is develop a trustee liaison policy.
Okay,
That we were a little bit out of order in that we didn't have a policy guiding what liaisons could do before we appointed one.
Right.
So when you resigned when your term was up, we
Mhm.
appointed you for 1 year.
Mhm.
When your term was up, we said, let's get this policy, and then we never got to it in the fall.
gotcha.
So now we want to do that, and then we'll go back to appointing. It would probably help communication.
Mhm.
It would probably be, it might be something, I mean, it seems like Ed is the de facto liaison to us from the Friends, right? It might help if they had somebody come to our meetings and we had somebody go to theirs with communication, but let's develop our policy first so that we're not flying blind.
Yeah, so just to let you know that liaisons, when they go to other meetings, you could spend easily 2.5 hours there.
Right,
So that is a significant ask,
Exactly,
right,
besides all the other stuff we're doing.
exactly,
right.
So we have to take that into consideration.
exactly. And we should, all of these things should come up when we're talking about our liaison policy, because we really need to conserve our limited resources for
Right.
sure. But yeah, I mean, this is basically saying the agenda is available. The reports is a smaller portion. I mean, we did talk a long time about reports today, but that's supposed to be just kind of a pro forma place. And certainly for longer discussions, an affiliated organization would want to ask for an agenda item.
Mhm.
Yeah. I wanted to underscore something about the use of the library name and branding. We are granting use of the name Great Barrington Libraries in connection only with activity related to the purpose we've agreed on. What we want to avoid, and this is gonna come in, look at this RTE and this seasonal thing. We don't want other organizations weighing in on political issues under the aegis of this. What we're saying is, this name you use for the purpose of supporting the library in the way that you have said it, the rest of the time, you're a private citizen, you know? We prescribe the use of Great Barrington Library Funds or fund when it's talking about a matter that has nothing to do with libraries.
Right.
And I think that's really important so that we don't get dragged into places that we don't want to go.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
Is there any other thing in? Oh, and this is to cover us and to cover, and to conform to the town, is that, the library is not the sole arbiter of how we use our brand. We have to conform to Great Barrington's conventions. And those have to then travel to the affiliates if they're using the name Great Barrington Library. So
Right.
that's something that right now, I don't know is a problem, but I think the town is going through some rapid change and we just can't tell what might come down the line, so.
Right.
Okay, is there anything else in name and branding? What about resources? How did you?
Well, that's more Dawn about the staff element in there.
Yeah, how does that look to you?
I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think that, it's. Maybe we need. I lost it, I'm on the wrong page. Does it explicitly say that employees of the town are not allowed to participate in fundraising?
Where would that be?
Yes, it does. It does exactly say that.
Yeah,
But we
it's-
might want to add, however, staff can provide information to the affiliated organizations as they would to any member of the
Well, that's like
public.
just
Providing
being patron.
information is different than actually collecting monies.
Right. I think it's fine, where it's written up.
Yeah,
the question would be what it's about, but sure, you wanna put that in after the cannot be engaged in fundraising? Provide information?
no, I think we can provide
I know,
information.
but you wanna put it
Want
in
to add
there.
it?
Oh, if you think it's necessary.
I don't really think it's
Set
necessary
up
because
for
it's like
sponsored
being a
event.
patron does. Every patron is entitled to getting information.
Right,
They're no different.
right.
I'm wondering about number 8, if we're ready.
Okay,
Otherwise, I'll wait till you guys are done with 7.
well, we thought 7 was really for, if nothing
Okay.
jumped out at you about what we were saying staff would do. I did think that, for instance, when we were setting up for the legislative breakfast, some staff helped with that, and certainly if we were gonna have a big event in the reading room, staff could help organize how that would be, right?
I think that's okay. It's not okay really for staff to volunteer time. But in that case, Christine it was her work day anyway. So it's not like she was there in a voluntary.
Right, so what I said was staff may, if available and able. So, I mean, physically, or if they're there and they're free and they're physically capable of helping, they might help us move some cables. Is that, if you wanted to just take all of that out, we'll just take it out.
I think, why put it there?
I don't think
we need it.
I don't think you should have it there
Yeah.
anyway, because honestly, I mean, not everybody would feel this way, but maybe a staff member would not want to say no.
All right, so you're taking out the library, the second sentence, the library agrees to help set up for affiliated sponsored
I wouldn't
events.
do that.
So you never help the friends set up, they just help us. Is that the way it goes?
Friends set up
We do
on
have
their
that,
own.
but it's
list,
different if staff is there and they're on the clock. Then that's the distinction.
Or they may
I
be
think.
busy doing something else too,
But she says
But I said it's
available.
available and able.
or maybe they just don't wanna do it.
Well, that's what this addresses
Yeah,
though.
It's not their job. But it's not their job. And like I said, some people may not wanna say no. Cause it puts them in a difficult spot.
All right, so you wanna just take that sentence
Let's
out?
take it out.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think we're on to website then.
It says agrees to provide links at its website.
Which is what we do now.
A link to what? Is it good? It's not gonna be a link to collect money, right? It's a link
No,
to,
so didn't we work this out already, that we provide a link to their website?
okay.
We don't
So
provide
contact, it just says
Just
contact link.
affiliated organizations.
a link to the organization's homepage. How about that?
Yeah,
It says a
because-
contact link.
Because we were wondering recently, actually, Ed and I, if we could just put the same QR code on the website that they use, their Venmo QR code. Could we put that on the website?
No,
Right, because
Okay.
then that's
no,
fundraising.
no,
Okay.
they need, and they need to set up a landing page.
Okay,
Where people, once they get to that page, can decide if they want to click
Sure.
into
Right.
pay.
Right.
And
It should
that's the
just go
same, and
on
that's the
page.
distinction. We're providing the information about how do you get to them?
Right.
And then once they're off our site, they decide if they want to contribute.
okay.
Right, and it has to be a link that takes you off. You know, how some links take you within.
If it's
a website.
fundraising, it's
Yeah,
gotta go
it needs to
somewhere
go
else, right?
Completely, now you're off of the library site and you're on the
Yeah.
website.
And if
Oh, it
the-
says,
You
right.
know, and
You know,
if,
it's like sometimes on
On
a
the
site, you
screen.
want people to stay on your site, you don't want to
right,
lose them. But in
right,
this
and that's why
case-
you open a new window.
Right.
Right, we don't wanna do that,
It's to go.
they would have to leave. But I don't think that the Friends have a website
No,
standalone,
no.
but that what you can do then is you can a window could come up and say, you will be leaving this site and going to the
Sure.
Friends website or Friends.
Well, right, but if they don't have a
Whatever.
website.
They don't
where-
have one.
where
That
do
was
they
the
go
problem,
to?
is people were asking me, how can I donate to the Friends?
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's a good point to say to Ed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really wouldn't cost very much for them to set up a Squarespace.
Yeah, help him out,
It would help with
Help us out.
visibility,
help him out,
yeah.
him and I.
Let's talk to the Friends about that, because I think we are in much better conformance with the free to all mentality if we have them leave and go to a
Mhm.
different site where they can make a decision about donating. So what you want to say is we'll provide links at its website to the homepage.
or to the affiliated organizations'
Website.
websites.
Yeah, that would be repetitive, but we'll see. Rewrite it
Yeah.
Yeah.
to say that. I'll rewrite that first sentence.
Mhm.
does this reflect the fact that if library staff because they're municipal employees, they cannot support any fundraising? Is that right?
Yes,
Right,
that's why we're saying that the link people would click at our website would take them to the web page of the
main
other organization, yes.
The main web.
To the main webpage where the person visiting would then decide at their site whether
What
to
they wanna
contribute.
do.
Yeah,
or not.
yeah.
Okay,
Right, it wouldn't take them directly
It
to
wouldn't take,
fundraising page, it would take them to
right,
the main page, to the
Right.
site, and then they get there
Right.
and they can navigate it.
does that mean that trustees, we're elected government officials, that we cannot fundraise as well?
right,
oh, I gave you that
yeah,
reading from state ethics and from town council. The only way we can raise funds is if we direct people to donate to a town managed fund,
right,
Oh, right.
Right.
Talk about it,
Yeah.
yeah.
but we don't do that right now, but that's the only way we can do it. We can't have them, we can't fundraise if if we're telling people to donate to an external fund not managed by the town.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we?
We're still in 8 with the website.
Okay,
How about 9, supplies? The library allows printing and you don't charge for the paper, right? For
We charge
everybody?
for printing, yes.
Oh, you charge for printing?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I was wondering too.
Yeah, because I think that
Okay.
I think I
Pretty bad.
mentioned it when I, when I went through this and I commented.
Well, people could come in and use for instance, anybody from the affiliated organizations could sit down at the computers,
Sure,
right?
but this is giving
So-
them office equipment and supplies.
That the town has paid for.
But well, I thought that it was what you give all Great Barrington residents. What do you give them?
No, you pay for.
Like
it.
500 sheets of paper.
We
can do that.
charge
Yeah.
20 cents a page.
Okay, so it's computer access only that you provide.
Mhm.
Okay, so.
And they can print.
And
they
use
gotta pay
of,
for it.
but not,
So
right.
reasonable usage of computers, of public computers, or whatever.
Of
How would you
office,
rewrite
just say
that,
office
Dawn?
equipment.
No,
To,
they can't use office equipment,
well,
they can only use
the
Computer is an office
computers is-
equipment, right?
but no supplies.
No, well, that's what I said, just
I would
put a
just
period
say
after
computer.
equipment.
Yeah,
I would
say-
spell it out, just computer usage. Cause that's what everybody else has, right?
Yeah. And besides that, it's kind of unlikely that any of the people in these particular affiliated organizations need to use the library's computers to begin.
So maybe it just doesn't need to be,
Right.
number 9 doesn't need to be there.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
because, yeah, we're not providing supplies.
They could come, for example, and use the room and use.
Just like
the-
everybody.
Just
Right.
like everybody.
Right, so take 9 out.
You
Okay.
just wanted to delete it.
Yeah,
I'm sure that this was in the model.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Somebody passed me a copy of the.
okay,
Or all that.
okay, the
So-
model that I was, the ALA model. It must have been a very big library with lots of.
With storage. I was
Hold on,
noticing that, right.
Oh, my God.
But I did want to say something because clearly the building is being used to some extent by the Friends. So I wanted to acknowledge this, but I do know that it's a burden right now. So, what do you want to say about this? I mean, I do think that, that we need to accommodate meetings, particularly if they're meeting people to talk about the library. It would be crazy not to give them meeting rooms in the library. But we will have to tell them that, of course, they understand these need to be scheduled in
Right.
advance because the calendars fill up.
But isn't that the same for everybody, any
Yeah, it is
group?
the same for
Why is
everyone.
it different for them?
Or are you
It's the
more
same thing,
addressing-
right?
Or are you more addressing storage?
Well, we might be addressing after hours stuff, we might be addressing whatever.
This is actually a library affiliated group. Whereas the Girl Scouts would not be.
So.
So
different
it is a
priorities.
little bit different, I think, for like use of the meeting room or
So you're saying they would be prioritized?
if that's allowed, I think so, because it's a library affiliated group.
But I don't think, I mean, we can't agree to bump people, right? I mean,
Oh,
you
no.
said that the-
No,
already on the
For
calendar.
instance,
No.
the calendar is really full.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't put this level of detail in an understanding in an MOU, but we need to communicate with them how tight the meeting space is so that they really would need to give long lead time to be sure to get the space. I
Well-
mean, when Ed was doing the poetry readings, he came to us several months in advance to get them approved. And.
But that's how people learn, Sharon, too.
Right, but
Right?
I mean.
I don't think that needs to be in writing.
Oh, no, I just said.
As the calendar
I just said
allows,
it
it
wouldn't
says,
be.
right.
I just said it wouldn't be, but that we
Right.
would give them a heads up that in order
Yeah.
to make use of the space, we'll need long lead
Well, you
time.
don't even have to give them a heads up, is what I'm saying. It's common knowledge.
Oh, we're collaborating, of course we would say it, but it doesn't go in the writing, I said.
Right.
I said.
Oh,
it
you mean
here.
just like have a conversation
Yeah,
with
yeah,
somebody?
right.
Make sure you get your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
date in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but what I also say about this is that you say number 10, space. And then, you talk about sufficient space in the library for meetings and to some extent storage. Those are two different things, so I'm just wondering if this should be, meeting space.
I don't think it's
And
true.
that's what you're talking about.
No, because we're also talking about storage.
You wanna,
And the storage
Separate.
is separate from.
I don't think you should bring attention to
Allowing-
storage.
at all, you mean? Just
No,
like
no, I
in
think
there?
this is, in here, it's good. I don't think to call it out as a separate,
If you wanna do storage, you have to make sure your insurance will cover for that. Let's say the fund, like to store all of its essential documents here,
No,
and then something happens and it get misplaced and we can't find it.
But even that is a separate issue, the insurance thing. This is just, we're talking about space. And so, but really, this is about meeting space. And storage is separate space from meeting space.
Okay,
So I don't think it belongs in here.
so you just wanna take it out or separate it?
I
Yeah,
would just.
I would take it out of
I would take it out.
space for
meetings and
Because each of the affiliated offices should be responsible for their storage and their documents.
Yeah.
It should not, because we don't know what's there. We can't go through everything that they store here. So.
I mean, I understand that the friends have the books. That
Right.
makes sense. But when you're
Well,
talking
actually,
about
I was
But that's a
wondering
big
if-
document, but when you're talking about
But that's a good point.
documentation,
And if you're pointing to that, I think it should be clear
so
that that's what
friends
you're pointing
books,
to.
friends
But
books.
a lot
Because I don't
of,
know for sure, but I'm guessing.
but a lot of.
Because who else is storing anything?
They
in the
actually
library?
have a room for the friends. The friends have their own office space.
We do have a room back
Okay.
there.
Do we have one?
Yeah, but it's
It's
full.
not an office, it's
It's
like a
not,
closet.
it's a closet, it's a storage closet.
Yeah.
But if you look at Richmond, their new library, they have a space right behind the counter for their friends.
Yeah, we're not gonna have
That's
that. So,
So what we say here is that they should at least be able to, at Friends would be able to store their books here, I would say, so they don't have to store it in their own home. Right?
Well, it's more so because if they're gonna do a book sale, they're gonna do it here.
No, I'm talking about, not their books, their.
Oh, the
their
documents and
accounting, their
things.
documents.
Yeah.
I don't think we should hold their corporate files. I think that's up to the corporation itself to do that.
And honestly, I don't really think that's what we're talking about.
No,
And
we're talking
and-
about meeting space and storage.
Yeah, which are two
or
separate.
promotional
And
materials.
again, when you're saying, when we're saying storage, right, what are we talking about? So the Friends store stuff here, which makes sense, they've got books that they sell, right, so they should be stored here. Is there other storage somewhere else?
Well, I
Let me
know,
think, where could it be? In the other library? I think there's some storage back there. Are you referring to that? I mean, I just think that these are two totally separate things, and if that's what we're talking about, I think we need to either not talk about it or
Spell it out,
That's
yeah.
what we're talking about.
Oh, no, I don't think that's,
And not have it be like this underlying,
I don't think
and
that's
to
what you
some
meant.
extent, storage. I don't know that that's. what
well, I mean,
anybody- I'm just
I
saying
think
that's.
meeting
how I'm
space and
hearing it.
storage are all about space. I think this is trying to, I mean, this is not, this is an overall agreement, right? And so if somebody comes and asks for storage space for something from one of the affiliate organizations, what does this MOU give us the flexibility to say, I'm sorry,
Yes or
we're
no?
full up?
Right, yes or no?
We can't do it, or does it compel us to do it? Is that what you're asking?
Well, but the way that you're wording it is like this to some extent, is just so vague. The library agrees to provide the affiliated organization with sufficient space in the library for meetings and to some extent storage.
Well, Yeah,
Like
we
that to
can't give
me-
up, we can't designate whole rooms for storage, right?
Well, you could say and an agreed amount of storage.
Yeah,
And
because to
agreed
some
about-
extent, it's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of vague. And I don't know, I just feel.
How about some limited amount and and agreed upon, how did you say it?
An agreed upon amount of storage.
Now, what Ruby said, though, what if the Great Barrington Library Fund wanted to store records and documents?
Yeah, we're not the corporate address for the, I mean, the nonprofit law says that your documents, all of your corporate documents have to be held at the corporate address.
Okay.
So,
Not the library.
no.
Okay.
Not
I
any
mean,
place else.
That's, I mean, that's what you have to abide by. And every year when you file your annual report with the Secretary for the Commonwealth's,
Okay.
corporations division, you say where your corporate address
Okay,
is. And
that's fine. So that takes away that concern.
Yeah, and we're
Okay.
not addressing what they're storing
Well,
anyway.
But-
In this.
but you're saying they can't store that kind of stuff
We,
here.
because we're not the corporate address,
So I have a
would
question
not.
for you. If the nonprofit address is at a building, so does that building become non-taxable because it's nonprofit?
No.
Or does it?
Not whole building.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, a lot
No,
of
I
those in
mean, for
town.
instance, when we moved, when we were in office buildings. We were a nonprofit, but the building paid real estate tax. It just, rented to nonprofits.
Okay.
We paid whatever rate we paid in
Okay.
rent, but.
I was just wondering
Yeah.
if that would be a benefit.
Okay, so the library, so we're saying an agreed amount of storage space.
I think that's good.
Okay. And in each of these, we say that the affiliated organizations' needs are subordinated to the main mission of the library.
You
And
have,
that's-
and you have double its,
Where?
Oh, yeah.
second to last line, must focus primarily on it.
Yeah.
It's,
That,
okay, cool, got it.
You didn't look at my. Did you even look at my copy?
AI is making the whole spelling review of documents
Hard, yeah,
hard.
yeah,
It's not like it used to be. It's,
yeah.
yeah.
Don't let it in.
Okay, recognition. So, what we're saying here is that the library agrees that we want to recognize donors and supporters, but it has to be that the library is in charge of developing them. So an example is that tree, the giving tree out in the hallway. That's a donor recognition. So what we're saying is that the decision about how we do that has to emerge from the library and not be imposed on the library.
Do we
Right.
have a policy right now for that?
It looks like not, because it says the library will develop policies.
There is a policy about donations. I think it's
Where is
a
that?
little bit on the older side.
One of 11.
Oh,
Like recognition.
There is, so it probably needs to be updated, but there is a donor policy and I think it's on
How about
the
instead of
website.
will develop, how about will maintain?
Mhm.
Policies
Maintain,
and
yes.
procedures, so that even when it needs to be updated, like we're agreeing to
That makes sense.
continuous.
Right.
Stewardship
Special
of that.
policies on responsibility of the library and its trustees.
will maintain policies.
And that way we can update the one we have. Yeah. Okay, how much longer do we have on this one? Couple few pages, only 2 pages, so responsibilities of the affiliates. So we're saying they can hire and employ their own employees and contractors. We have nothing to do with that, and we have no say in it, and they report only to the affiliated organizations. So they're not part of any kind of library regulations. Compliance and public.
So this is important that that affiliates agree that to annual tax filings. And as a best practice standard to meet or exceed the accountability standards from the Attorney General's office. It's pretty standard.
Pretty
stuff.
straightforward, yeah.
And then the only thing I would say is that in any year that an affiliate, I mean, we wouldn't write this in here, but to just say, if you're not yet filing a full 990 or a short form 990, just, send us an image of the IRS postcard to send in, just so we know that. Because if things aren't filed with the state and with the federal government, that impacts the tax exempt status. And we would not want any one of our affiliated organizations to be accepting funds if their tax exempt status was not up to date. So it's
Oh,
just
right.
it's just a thing. And I've had a couple of friends who were involved with organizations that neglected to file, and it's a procedure and it takes some money to fix it. So
So do you want to add something to that?
no, I think it's all
It's
there.
all there, okay.
Parties agree, yeah.
And it was in the model. It wasn't something I thought up. Allocation of contributions and revenues. So this was one that we have never talked about, but this was in the model from ALA. That the funds generated are meant to support the library, and that we need to talk once a year about how they're transferred to the library, in what form. We just haven't talked about that.
We really haven't talked about, let's say, we make a request to the funds for a fancy table for the front office, how do we go about doing that?
Now that's in here. It says that we'll meet once a year. We agree to meet with them once a year. Which section was that in? To talk about our
It's
strategic.
Number 20, endowment distribution to the library. The funds will at least annually make distributions from its endowment fund as provided.
In its endowment fund policy.
Yeah.
No, there's something different.
Yeah,
There's-
that's right.
There is it.
We let them know what we need.
Yes, we meet with them
Yeah,
once a
I saw
year
that some.
to, where is it?
So do you
Hang on
want to
just a minute.
give them like a wish list of these are what's.
Number 17, responsibilities of the Friends.
No, it's actually something we agreed to do, but that we meet with them. Which number
Was
is
it under strategic planning?
So we don't have a responsibility for the.
Here it is. It's number 2 in section 1, communications and coordination, strategic initiatives. The library will review its strategic initiatives with the affiliated organizations at the commencement of each fiscal year and discuss how the resources and support of the affiliated organizations can advance the library's initiatives. And the affiliated organizations agree to support the library's strategic plan. And I think this is actually nicer to the organizations, because we're saying once a year, and then we're not gonna hit you up
Right.
over and over again, like
Right,
you never
right,
know what's
right,
coming. or
Right, this is
something.
their plan,
That's
and
our
they
plan,
can work
and
towards
it
it.
puts some responsibility on us for thinking ahead as well.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's where that is covered.
Okay.
Okay.
But that does not talk about the actual, like the physical, where does the money, are we concerned about that? Like where the money lives?
Well, we have to talk with the affiliates about this, but we don't know what their endowment
Right, oh, I
policies
see,
are
I
right
see,
now.
right.
But what we do want, for instance, if funds are being earmarked for Ramsdale renovation,
Right,
it would actually be kindness to save a fund, to have them transfer those funds into that
capital fund at the town, that capital project.
Right.
What is it called? Ramsdale Capital Improvement Fund.
Mhm.
Because even though they've increased the receipts level, it used to be that you had to do a full audit if your receipts went over 250,000.
Wow.
But now they've upped it to 500,000, and they've upped the amount of a full audit, which is really expensive. That's like $16,000.
Wow.
The review used to cost our center for the book around 5,000 to 6,000
Wow.
a year. So if they got those monies out, it
Have to.
wouldn't impact their end of the year balances and kick in an audit. So, but we don't know what their policy is. This is a draft, and this is something we have to talk with them
Mhm.
about.
Okay.
Okay, and then the review and amendment of the agreement, we said that. I think the 5-year agreement seems good. That was in the model. If you want it to be more or less, we're at the very end.
I don't know where I am.
Yeah, no, you're
Skip
good.
down.
You're on the signature page. Up at the top.
21, okay.
21, it's the term in the model was 5 years. I thought that seemed good. It's not quite as long as 2 years of the term of trustees, but it's seems reasonable to revisit it every 5 years and say what needs to change, what is working, what.
Right. Yeah,
And
It can be amended
amended.
anyway, so.
It can be amended,
Yeah.
and there's a termination of the agreement. And then there's.
And you added the,
We want to add something about in the event that
Right.
an affiliate organization, okay.
now, I mean, maybe this is just overboard, but what do we do in the event that there is a violation by one of the affiliates, if they don't follow this, if they do something in violation of this agreement?
I think that would come under termination, it usually does.
Yeah, then we'll have a discussion and, whatever, so we don't have to spell that out.
No, I think
Yeah,
that
it's pretty clear.
it's pretty clear that there's a way to terminate, and you have written notice and,
Okay.
Oh,
any party may take, right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So do we know on the one above that, responsibilities of the fund,
wait a minute, what,
right above the end,
What number?
6?
okay,
Number 6?
Do we, yeah, it says
yeah, it's on the
Endow-
page before the
endowment.
signatures.
Contributions
to the library, yeah. Do we know what their fund policy is? Endowment fund policy?
No, that's why I said.
That's
have
what we
to
don't
ask
know
the
it yet.
judges.
Skipping that part.
Till we
No,
know.
it's in there but remember, this is a draft, and we're gonna take it to them. We have no
Okay.
idea what their policies
Right,
are.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's gonna be something we have to discuss with them.
Fill out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If this is an MOU, is there a line for responsibilities of the library trustees? Like, we know we expect responsibilities of the friends and of the fund, but what is our responsibility?
But I think that the library,
What is our, the trustees in the library?
well, I think that we're going to include them in our long-term planning.
Uh-huh,
We're gonna review our strategic initiatives with them.
uh-huh.
We're agreeing to publicly, we're agreeing to these cross-board communications. We're agreeing to,
I think that's a good
I
idea,
mean,
what Ruby is saying though, to have it designated
but
as a
it's,
separate
but what
thing.
I'm saying is that it goes throughout all
I know,
those things.
But I think if there's a way of, just like you have responsibilities of the fund, responsibility of the friends. I think it should be there and maybe simplified.
So
Hold.
okay, let me ask you what you're saying. Are you saying that you want us to put in our mission
The
statement?
responsibility is to assist whatever ways that we're supposed to assist them.
Yeah, but
And
I
the
thought
friends.
but I thought that's what the library agrees to do,
Where is
to
that?
provide links. The library agrees to provide meeting space, the
Where
library.
it says
Well,
understandings and agreements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under understandings
I
and
mean, I thought
agreements.
that they
When you say the
throughout.
library, you're talking about the trustees, you're talking about
well, the
the
library,
library and the trustees.
well,
Yeah.
if you go back to the beginning
beginning.
of the thing,
it
it says the.
Great Barrington Libraries is the library.
And
And
its
the
board of
trustees.
trustees.
So there's nothing then about what are the responsibilities of the trustees?
All those things.
Everything that we've just said about the meetings, the strategic planning, the,
So now why? Devil's advocate, why? Everything was discussed. Of the friends, everything was discussed
right.
about GBLF, right? But yet at the bottom, that was also stipulated again, right?
I don't know what. you mean.
Responsibilities of the friends, even though it had been in there. And responsibilities of the fund, even though
what-
that had been said
So
in
what,
different ways,
so it's fine for us to put something else in,
general.
but I don't know what it would be beyond. I mean,
You just want to label it.
Exactly.
You just want to label.
And so
but
you
it
have
would be-
some little bullets underneath, and what you would say is.
But what Sharon
Well,
is saying is that this whole document talks about what we, the library and the trustees, what our job is, what we're doing
Okay, so if you had four things that you would say, what would they be?
as far as
That
our responsibilities to the fund and the,
Yeah,
yeah. They would be to support the fund, the affiliates. We're talking about affiliates,
How?
right?
yeah, support how?
Well, like we just said, we said that we would provide the space, we would, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I think I hear what you're saying as.
I'm saying give clarity.
No,
To it, yeah.
I feel like I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
I don't know. That the way this is written, it could be easily done. I could see putting into the preamble. What the mission of the library is, what the mission of the trustees is.
Okay,
I could see doing that,
okay,
but I think that our responsibilities. Sort of run through every section. On the first two pages. And, but there are things in there that are also, they're about things we're granting to the affiliate organizations and things like that. I could look at how to do that, but I don't think that that's normally, I mean, we are in exchange for these considerations. I mean, the trustees and the library, I mean, in general, the library is made up of the staff and the trustees, right? That we are making an agreement with them, and in exchange, they agree to do this. So we're giving them the name, we're giving them the
Right.
branding, we're
Right.
giving them the meeting space,
Yes.
we're giving them our strategic planning, we're giving them. So we're doing a lot, and we're kind of saying, you're it, you're our friends, you're our fund.
Mhm.
and we're
But in
starting it.
exchange, what we expect. Of a friends group or fund is this. So that's the dynamic of the organization, of the agreement. So I'd have to look at how to reorganize
Maybe
it,
like you say, do a mission statement in the beginning.
right?
The role of the trustees is to,
Okay,
and there you go.
I
Okay.
think, Sandy, like the whole part before this,
Which part?
before the end. Everything before responsibilities of the friends and responsibilities of the friends of the fund
Mhm.
is a back and forth between the libraries and both of those
Right.
organizations.
Right.
Then, but those organizations are not the same. So here at the end, it just delineates some different things for the friends. and
Between
the
them.
fund.
That's different between them.
Exactly.
Oh, that's why it's spelled
That's
out,
why it's
right?
spelled out.
Yeah.
That's why it's spelled out.
Because all the things before that apply to both.
yeah, now
Okay.
I will say that, I said that we were gonna take only public comment, but somebody asked why. These were both in one agreement. And I found individual agreements for friends groups. But I didn't find any individual agreements for foundations, which was interesting. But I did find this one. What I particularly liked about them being together is that it was the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I
you
like it
know,
too. Yep.
And that it's not, we're not triangulating where we
Right.
have one communication with one group and one with another, but we're all in it together.
It's a
With
partnership.
with distinct roles, so.
Right.
But if you want to entertain,
I would just do the mission statement in the beginning.
sure, we can, in the preamble, we can
Yes.
easily put, and we'll put also the mission of the library as
Yes.
well, so we'll do that, add mission.
Mission statements on both, right?
Sure.
Thank you.
And then if you feel that there are any other places where, I mean, I can't think of any other responsibilities we have. I do think it's our responsibility, though, to help keep an organization going if it falters. That's a big deal for us, you
I
know,
think that's a good idea. I think that's
Yeah.
really great.
yeah. Because it benefits everybody to keep the same
Yeah,
tax
I
ID
think
number.
so.
The only thing, it's,
Especially if you have people who set up recurring donations, you know.
what
just-
happens if there was some kind of a legal issue though, or a problem, like you were saying, what if it's, one of the affiliates does something that we really don't wanna maintain that kind of connection?
Well, that's
Then we
right,
terminate.
let's,
No, I mean,
it would be,
no,
terminate,
and
you're right.
start new name and everything. See, sometimes you don't wanna continue something that
I
has
guess
a
that
bad taste in people's
Yeah,
mouth,
I don't-
or legal issues.
I hear you, so let's just not write that provision that ties us to using.
Yes.
I mean, it would
Just
be up
keep it
to us to
open. It would have to
rebrand
be,
it.
yeah.
Rebranded,
Yeah,
yeah.
Is there something in there that we should write that we're not legally responsible for their actions?
That's why, that was my concern.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I'm saying that.
that's interesting, that wasn't in here.
Yeah,
I mean, we say we expect them to abide by,
right.
Right.
but,
But if, let's say
Yeah.
they're doing something that's.
So,
taxable.
where would we put that? We would put it under responsibilities,
No.
under
This is a
compliance and public
climate-
trust.
Yeah.
Suing, yeah.
So here's the thing, can we absolve ourselves of responsibility?
Absolve, that's.
Do we have enough reporting that we've asked for that we? I mean,
Oh, so not
what if
file
we should not?
taxes? Yeah, like not filing taxes.
Yeah, but that's not our fault, that's
Yeah.
not our responsibility. We're gonna have to research that, I don't know the answer to that. So what about liability?
Yeah,
Yeah.
liability.
Thank you. That's
That's a word.
That's important.
Can I just bring another thing up? I don't
Sure.
know how to say it, but sometimes the funds will say, well, the library is going to have this program and we're gonna promote it. And they really don't have the ability to tell us what to program,
No.
how to run the library. But sometimes they feel that if we did this, then we can sell this better. So then they give.
Yeah,
you know,
that's really not
false-
their job.
Not their
It's not
job.
their job, and yeah.
They give false assumptions to people
Yeah,
that may
I
not be
think,
true.
I think this is where this happens. In, the library will include the organizations in long-term planning. And that we will review our strategic initiatives with them each fiscal year, and they agree to abide by our strategic initiatives. I mean, that's saying that the library develops and that the supporting organizations agree to support them.
Mhm,
And it's, the tail isn't gonna wag the dog,
okay.
that's what we're
There
saying.
was also something in there about the organizations not being able to encumber staff,
Yes,
so.
Okay,
yeah, but I agree, it's been, I mean, and I think, look, it's all coming from an anxious, enthusiastic attempt to help.
Right.
But what we have to do is We have to delineate responsibilities, and then all of us have to trust each other. And I think that it's incumbent upon the trustees to communicate our seriousness of purpose,
Right.
our deliberative nature,
Right.
and we've thought long and hard about things. And your group is agreeing to support these initiatives. You're not there to tell us what our initiatives are. You can come to long-range planning, you can come to the marketplace of ideas, but if they don't get carried,
Right.
then you follow what was agreed on. It has to be this way, or else we're gonna have way too many cooks in the kitchen. And there is something in here that I do think we got into some problems in the fall with our messaging. And again, with all of the best intentions, people who were not authorized to lobby town groups under their affiliated name were lobbying town bodies, and the library was not there to
To
address
defend, right.
misunderstandings and misstatements.
What was that?
So it doesn't matter. It's just that we need to make clear that, you know,
The roles.
if you're a private individual, you can go and exercise every civic engagement you want, but when you use this name,
Sure.
it has to be with the express
Right.
understanding.
Right.
Because we just can't go whack-a-mole, you know?
Right.
We just
Right.
can't.
And it's just gonna continue, right? I mean,
Well,
like,
you know,
this could be a
the thing is-
long-term, good, positive, long-term relationship, which is what we want.
Exactly.
Right.
And look, we were all working overtime.
Yeah.
This has been a very busy year,
Yeah.
but I mean it, we got really frayed in the fall.
Yeah,
And we have to, you know,
take a
Take a
deep breath
and
and
we have
settle
to
it.
organize and we have to move forward as a much more well-oiled machine. So I hope that's what this.
It's a great
This is the
start,
beginning.
Sharon,
It's a
really.
good beginning, right?
Mhm.
So there are 3 people in the audience and 2 of them are from the fund. So even though I'm just going to ask if they want to make any comment now, or if you're going to wait until we come to your meeting. So raise your hand if you want to talk. Okay.
Maybe they're not really there, they just didn't.
Yeah, well, we'll just move on then. Ruby, we
Yeah.
do need to do the Ramsdale Building Advisory Committee, and it is 8:30.
I was just about to ask if we had to do this tonight.
What I'm going to ask is if you would give approval that Ruby and I meet either together or with the building committee
Mhm.
and work this out.
I think that's great.
Can we do that?
Absolutely, I give
We
permission.
could bring.
And then we can
the
bring it
results.
back.
Absolutely.
And again, this is not about
Right.
anybody's commitment, and it's just about.
Clarity.
So that so that we don't step on each other's toes.
Right.
And so that we keep people focused on what they're supposed to be focused on.
Right.
So
Great.
it's the only way we're gonna get through this, I think. So, if you see in the end of this memo, Ruby. It's not a memo, it's just I put in the charter for the RBC. But there is notes from a library director going through a building program.
Yeah.
And she has a lot of good ideas about joint
Some of that,
meetings
yeah.
of the building committee
Yeah.
and the trustees. And I think that we should try to. Not that we're not all meeting up, but we should try to figure out having joint meetings
Mhm.
with the building committee and get
I would
our
appreciate, I would like that,
collaboration
I would appreciate
going.
that, just so that I could, yeah,
Yeah,
and can see it firsthand instead of, yeah.
okay, so will the minutes reflect that we're going to table this, but Ruby and Sharon will advance it. And that if it involves going to an RBAC meeting, I think it's gonna be tricky because, because Pat and Ruby are both on that committee. So if I went alone, it would be
That's
okay,
okay.
but if more people came, it would not be okay.
Okay.
We'd have to do a joint meeting.
Yeah, all right.
Okay,
well,
so I could take it as far, I wouldn't sign
Right.
A
it.
joint meeting.
I think a joint meeting
we
would be
could do a
good.
joint meeting.
maybe
some
Ruby and
point.
I could get it to the point where we'd be ready for a joint meeting.
Mhm.
And that would
Yeah.
be also a way for us to map out activity.
I think that'd be
What do you think,
beneficial,
Ruby?
I
actually.
think it's great. The problem is the challenge of trying to get all of their schedules.
Yeah,
Together.
right,
Always.
schedules, always.
But they have been
You
meeting,
could do Zoom.
but the RBC's been meeting on Tuesdays, midday. And a lot of people are free then, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we've only been once in, you know,
Right, once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be like monthly or anything,
Right.
you know.
Great.
Okay, so we'll table that, but we'll move it forward.
Okay.
Unlike, so we're giving ourselves some direction, unlike the
Great, it's
CPC
great.
tabling. But may I say, to just, since I brought that back up again, I am glad that if they weren't prepared to say yes, that they tabled it, rather than saying no. I think that helps. Okay, and now please look through the CPCs. There are two versions of them. Send me any notes that you have. Ruby and
Oh,
I
yes, I will.
probably
By
meet
when,
for a couple of days, but if you have any
Okay.
notes on those CPCs.
in the next day or so.
What is this, a CPC?
Here,
Just
the
the
FAQ.
end of the meeting packet, there's a couple of FAQs, one was done as a transcript and the other was done as a
Here, you see
reorg.
this?
Yeah, that's what it's.
Yeah, so,
This is
if you have any thoughts,
Yeah, that's one of them.
That's the one that got very.
And then the other one is after that. The other one,
yeah, the meeting packet was 45 pages this month.
the other one is this. It
Lauren,
says
we would have,
project process
we would have
questions.
been
which
really
is
in bad shape. with that
question.
thing. Okay, we haven't,
Yeah.
let's,
Can't find it all.
okay, I want to move to citizen speak. Raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Okay, I see no hands.
You're sleeping.
Media, oh, Pat, where did Pat go? Okay,
There, but
Pat,
not there.
yes, Pat. Pat, you're muted.
Pat?
Yeah, here I come. There I am. I just woke up. The this is about the staff, their contracts. We've never had any discussion about that, and it's this. You know, I understand the town manager and her budget and everything, but there's a whole union side to the contract. And when I went to the library trustees meeting in Shrewsbury this year, they made a big point of just saying that the most important thing as trustees that we can do is support the staff. And I mean, they're talking about real activism with this stuff. So we don't know how we can support them with the union is probably very supportive, but we've got to help. I mean, I heard a couple of our staff talk amongst themselves, but they were talking about how they're having a hard time paying their bills. And that just, I felt so bad when I heard that, that I think we really do need to figure out what it's going to take. Maybe there's a way, a mechanism that their fundraising can be done and some of it filters to them in some kind of oblique way or something. But anyway, we have no idea where the union negotiation is, and we're supposed to have discussed this in November. So I think,
Oh, as
Possibility.
Dawn said, the town manager is managing the union negotiations. Those are beginning at the end of February. I honestly don't know I've never heard of trustees getting involved with union negotiations. If you find a model and you
yeah,
find,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about supporting them in the efforts. I mean, the thing is, we're basically on opposite sides of the fence as the town manager is on negotiations. Because the union's going to ask for more, and that's what we're trying to do. Town manager's not going to do that. So the thing,
Patrick, how do you think we should show support?
maybe somebody needs to write an article into the Edge and talk about the plight of being
Okay,
a staffer that can't afford to live in this town and they love the library,
okay,
work here,
so
anything.
like the Edge
anything.
articles.
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
okay, all right, I wanted to go back because we skipped over media speak and went right to trustee speak. So let me go back and see if Eileen has anything she wants to say. Eileen? I guess she doesn't. Okay, so Pat?
Oh, she did, what?
No, I don't see a hand.
It came and went.
Where's that other?
See?
I only have
Keep
this.
going.
Oh, Bob read it, has,
I don't see a
What is
hand.
happening?
Okay, something is strange is happening. I'm gonna open each of you up to see because we're not getting hands.
allowed to.
I'm gonna open Bob Braddock first to see if you have, if you unmute Bob, let us know if you have anything you want to say.
Bob, do you have anything you wanna say?
All right, I'll do that same with Eileen. Eileen?
Yeah,
Okay, great. I don't know what's going on with our Zoom. It's media speak time, sorry.
would you send me the packet, please? For
Oh,
tonight,
of course, yeah.
thanks.
She sounds tired.
All right, Bob, you are muted, but you are, if you unmute, if you have anything you want to add. Okay, I guess not. Okay,
I have a library trustee thing, just real quick.
yeah,
I met, and we'll talk about this next month, but I just wanted to make you aware that Dawn and I met about homebound delivery. And I reached out to all of the library directors, most of them. I was in Lenox today. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Wendy in Stockbridge, and then in March, I'm going to Pittsfield. And my directive is just to see how they do it, if they have policy, how they, how they do homebound deliveries. Not everybody does, and they all do it a little differently. It's very interesting. So I'm just saying that I am working on it, and yeah, I'm excited about it.
great.
Yeah, I met with Anjani. Anjani, her name is, in Lenox. She's the circulation supervisor. Yeah, so I'll report in March.
Excellent.
Anyone else? Sounds great, Laura.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, it will be good, it will be good.
Dawn, when we were when I was rooting around in the website looking for mission statements and things. There is something about home delivery and a phone number people can call.
Right now? It's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
there?
yeah, it's
Oh,
something.
I bet it's left from COVID.
Oh,
I'll have to see if I can.
okay, so
find it.
we don't have anything active right now.
No,
Look somewhere in the front page.
Okay.
I forget where I found it. If I can remember, I'll screenshot it and send it to you. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, you guys have been champions tonight. The meeting is adjourned at, what time is it?
8:46.
8:46 PM.
Lauren, we want.